Legally, you should be able to be sent back. It's a crime.
10 candidates on the CNN debate stage last night. The Heritage Foundation's Genevieve Wood says that President Trump's foreign policy approach vastly different from that of the Democrats.
President Trump says America is on the right path, and the rest of the world needs to respect that. And they need to respect what we're doing in terms of trade. They need to respect what we're doing in terms of where we send our military. They need to respect what we're doing in terms of where we make investments around the world.
The search goes on for the pilot of a Navy jet. It crashed yesterday morning during a training mission in Death Valley. Reports that Osama bin Laden's son Hamza is dead, actively involved in al-Qaeda operations. He was reportedly killed in a military operation. Wall Street futures pointing to a higher open later this morning following yesterday's big sell-off. That sell-off prompted by disappointment over the size of the Fed's interest rate cut. Right now, Dow futures are up about 50 points. S&P futures better by 4. NASDAQ futures 19 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Here's a look at traffic. 170 southbound, still slow, Olive to 40. Illinois 55 northbound at 143. That earlier bad accident is cleared, but traffic still backed up from 70 to 70 exit 20. 40 eastbound slows Lindbergh into Hampton. 70 eastbound before 141, a crash blocking the left lane. 44 eastbound between Bowles and 270 is backed up. 70 eastbound slows from the Blanchette Bridge to Cypress, and 70 westbound between 170 and Lindbergh is still heavy. That's traffic. I'm Alan Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan. Join me on Need, Want, Love, Wellness. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about your health, things to get you from awareness into action and how to change your life in a way that's never been discussed before so that you can then figure out exactly what's going on for you to best suit your lifestyle to get you back to doing the things that you need to do, want to do, and love to do within your life. So join me, Dr. Vadan, on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Rick Pogue here. Have you ever wondered exactly how hail forms or how it manages to grow to the size of golf balls, baseballs, or even larger? In a thunderstorm, strong updrafts lift water droplets so high into the atmosphere that they freeze. Once these tiny ice balls begin to fall, additional updrafts push them right back up, making them grow larger each time, until eventually they become too heavy, finally falling to the ground as large hail, and sometimes causing major damage to your home. After severe storms roll through the area and you're left to deal with the damage, call Arrowhead Building Supply for the professional help you need. High winds and large hail can wreak havoc on a home's exterior very quickly, so never neglect or underestimate the possible damage left behind. Arrowhead is the preferred supplier to hundreds of quality contractor professionals who will treat your home just like their own. Don't leave your home's protection to just anyone. Our contractor customers are also our friends and partners. When severe weather hits, call Arrowhead Building Supply for relief. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to all of you. And what a night it was. What a night it was last night with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and it was very pleasing to watch. Although I will have to tell you and give you an update. I did contribute to the Marianne Williamson campaign as Jim suggested I should do. So I bought these 5 buttons. I sent you a picture of those, didn't I? You can put those up when you get a chance, Phil. We'll show people the buttons, but they're really kind of really weird looking, to tell you the truth. Well, what do you expect? I'm sorry. What did you say? You said Marianne Williamson buttons, political buttons are weird, huh? I'm like, yeah. Well, yeah, they are, and they are. It's like her face, like she looks like it's like this drawn face. I mean, it's a nice picture of her. You know, it's like this little, drawing of her face, and it's 2020, and she likes to do the 2020 with the 120 on top, another 20 on the bottom, and they were $5 a piece. So I, bought a couple of them and just that would be my contribution. It's a campaign contribution to keep her on the stage there because I want her back. I want her on the stage with like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's what I want to see. But anyway, interesting night. One of the more interesting moments came, and this was one of the more talked about moments as well, when Tulsi Gabbard took on Kamala Harris. And people really haven't really touched Kamala Harris too much. I don't know why. I think they're afraid. And nowadays you criticize any black politician and you're a racist. So that doesn't surprise me that people would be reluctant to do that and to take on Kamala Harris in that way, because the minute you do, you're called a racist. But anyway, that's what Tulsi did, took her on her record. One of the things that really stood out to me in this criticism was indeed a case that she brought up regarding a death row inmate, which I would like to learn more about, but instead they're not. You'd think that people would follow up on what she had to say in her criticism as opposed to just gloss it over and ask Kamala Harris how she felt about it, which is what they did last night. I don't know. This is some pretty harsh criticism here from Tulsi Gabbard.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. Yeah, that was a thing where they had her on all the TV shows. Oh, there are the buttons. There are the Marianne buttons. They're actually pretty nice, tell you the truth. But they don't look like campaign buttons, do they? I don't know. They really don't. They look like they really don't look like campaign buttons. They look like like an ad for some cosmetic or something. You know what I mean? Marianne, because it makes you feel good. Yeah. But yeah, this marijuana thing, Kamala Harris, she would go on Ellen and she would go on Seth Meyers' show or that kind of thing, and they'd laugh about pot and all this kind of stuff. But those things were never brought up about her incarceration rate for marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I'd like to know more about that case where she blocked evidence that would have freed a person from death row. She blocked evidence that would have saved somebody's life, and Tulsi Gabbard states that as a matter of fact. So you think that would be a pretty big deal? Like you'd want to know more about that one, wouldn't you? That she blocked evidence that would have freed
a man from death row? I'd want to know more about that. But is there any part of the story, the post-debate story, about any of that? You know, the marijuana incarceration thing it's a subjective deal where, she laughs about it on a TV show. I mean, I get it that wouldn't be some kind of call for some kind of investigation. But blocking evidence that would have saved a person's life, had the court not intervened, the person might possibly have been put to death. It's a pretty big deal. But no one's really talking about it.
She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep...
I'd like to know more about that one, too. I don't know what she means by that, whether Tulsi Gabbard is taking liberties with, okay, so somebody wasn't given parole or somebody had to spend more time in prison or what have you. She's not the one. Kamala Harris wouldn't be the one that keeps somebody in prison. That's not her role. And for cheap labor, and I realize prison people, like for instance in Missouri here, they make furniture. So there's like down in Jeff City, they have a furniture outlet, and the furniture is made by prisoners. I don't know.
Cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you,
Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who are
Kamala Harris has this neck rolly squint going on at that point, and her pursed lips. And she's kind of got this thing, and she's writing things down, which just to avoid having to look at something, I think. But
death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Wow.
Senator,
I mean, that's pretty rough right there. And when she was asked about it afterwards by CNN, she was basically asked just how she felt about all that, like how that affected her. Anderson Cooper, he decided he was going to ask her about it, but he didn't really ask any, like, this is like Anderson Cooper's thing, right? Isn't he like kind of an investigative guy? He was just kind of talking to her about
some of the toughest critique or attacks at you came from Tulsi Gabbard.
He's such a pussy when he interviews people like that he's so afraid of. It's like, why are you talking like that? Sorry about that P word. I just came out of me. I'm sorry, but come on. He's always so, he's always like the tough guy. Whenever I see these ads with him and all this kind of stuff, he's always, Mr. Probing tough guy. But he's almost embarrassed to talk to Kamala Harris about criticism from Tulsi Gabbard that is really kind of worthy of a follow-up investigation of a prosecutor who blocks evidence that would free people from death row. It's a pretty big deal. And Donald Trump done it to be a big deal.
Or attacks at you came from Tulsi Gabbard. Just for our viewers who haven't seen it, I just want to play some of that and
if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would...
By the way, there's a lot of people in the audience who are not fans of Kamala Harris. I'm just telling you. I don't know how they stack the audience, but that's a lot of people who are clapping there, it seems to me. Tulsi Gabbard couldn't possibly have put that many people in there, so it's probably a mixture of pretty much everybody else's supporters.
Freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
I mean, at least Anderson Cooper played the soundbite for her. You know, at least Anderson Cooper made her sit through it again. So, you know, at least he did that.
He fought to keep
Thank you,
cash bail
Congresswoman.
system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform.
Did you expect that from Tulsi Gabbard?
Like your first question, I mean, honestly, I don't care whether you're a high school journalist or Anderson Cooper. Your first question out of all that would be, what's up with that blocking evidence that would have freed a person from death row? Where did that come from? What is that about? My question to Kamala Harris after all that wouldn't be, hey, did you expect that? Did that surprise you that she said that? I mean, that's like the dumbest, weakest question you could possibly be asking. You had a person running for president who challenged a top-tier presidential candidate by accusing her of, at the very least, malfeasance in office, blocking evidence that would have saved the life of an inmate. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, that would be right up Anderson Cooper's alley. And yet, hey, how'd you feel about that? Was that a surprise to you?
You had interaction about that in the past, and how do you think it went?
Well,
I mean, come on. You just had an accusation made by, well, first of all, a congresswoman to a United States senator that she blocked evidence that would have saved the life of somebody on death row, and Anderson Cooper's asking her Oprah questions. Wow.
Listen,
I mean, he's got her right there.
This is going to sound immodest, but I'm obviously a top-tier candidate, and so I did expect that I would be on the stage and take hits tonight because there are a lot of people that are trying to make the stage for the next debate.
Yeah, for a lot of them, it's do or die.
Well, yeah, and especially when people are at 0 or 1% or.
I mean, come on. What is up with CNN and Anderson Cooper not asking her about that major piece of the accusation? Or at the very least, ask about the marijuana stuff or something. But don't sit there and ask about how you felt about the whole thing so she could just talk about percentages and she expected to be attacked by, wow.
Where she might be at. And so I did expect that I might take hits tonight. But, listen, I think that this coming from someone who has been an apologist for an individual, Assad, who has murdered the people of his country like cockroaches. She who has embraced and been an apologist for him in a way that she refuses to call him a war criminal. I can only take what she says in her opinion so seriously.
That's Anderson Cooper's response to Kamala Harris accusing Tulsi Gabbard of being an apologist for a terrorist dictator. But that seemingly is allowed no matter what. She could just say whatever she wants to say, and he lets that go.
So I'm prepared to move on.
I don't know. I never noticed she talked out of her nose like she did. Is it just that she's nervous, or is that what happens when you're accused of something? Is that the Kamala Harris response to be, well, I just you didn't. Am I wrong? Maybe I haven't heard her speak as much. I didn't think she talked out of her nose the way she did. But you can tell she's back on her heels. But Anderson Cooper isn't putting her back there, that's for sure. Gave her a big pass. Anyway, that's just one snippet of the debate. Your phone calls are welcome. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line. And also coming up, we're going to obviously take your phone calls and figure out also what's up with Joe Biden. Because everybody went after him yesterday. And Joe Biden actually established himself. I mean, I was wondering whether he's going to be sucked into the Medicare for All thing. And he was, of course, too smart for that. And so we're going to follow up on a little Biden action when we come back. But your phone calls are certainly welcome. And without further ado, our national anthem.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Our early morning accident on 55 northbound before Union has been moved off to the right shoulder. Not causing any delays, though. One delay, and it's a big one. 44 eastbound is already jammed up between Bowles and 270 with construction. Now, that road work is right before 270, and it's going to be there until the end of the year. We've got 255 northbound with a right lane closed at Route 157 until late in November. And the Dorset Midland Bridge over Lindbergh closed with road work until late August. But everything else looks great. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
When is a notebook more than a notebook? When it takes me from creative writing
to traveling the world to report my next story. Staples is your back-to-school destination. Find all the supplies and inspiration you need. Staying organized is the key to a successful school year. Come in store this week and get Staples Standard View 1-inch 3-ring binders, just $1.92 each. Staples, back to school and beyond. In-store only. Offer ends 8/31/19 while supplies last.
Baseball season is in full swing. It's a good thing Matt secured his denture with Super Poly Grip. Now he can enjoy the snacks as much as the game.
Poly Grip. Hey, how are you? So great to see you.
It's that time of year when the family meets up.
Hi, come on, get together, guys. Family photo.
It's a good thing Jack cleans his denture with Polydent so he can enjoy the whole day with confidence.
Polydent.
Let's face it, things happen in our daily life that may get us off track. Tooth pain and aches can happen when we least expect them. Get back on track with a visit to Dr. Anna Smith of Dentistry with TLC. Dr. Anna prides herself on helping patients when it's convenient for them, even during lunch hours, and always providing a judgment-free office. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC is here to help. Need a root canal? Dr. Anna can perform the procedure in about 10 minutes and get you back on the road. Have sleep apnea? While you're there, talk to Dr. Anna about an oral appliance to help you get a better night's sleep and feel well rested the next day. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC, located in Godfrey, Illinois. Call today at 618-466-0733. That's 618-466-0733. Or visit dentistrywithtlc.com to learn the TLC difference. That's dentistrywithtlc.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org.
Beyond the Beltway with Bruce Dumont. A live discussion of the week's news and events. Sunday night from 9 to midnight. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
If they could possibly do any less as a result of a charge like that happened last night, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's a pretty damn big accusation to make, and there's no follow-up of it that I could see on any of these network shows or anything. There's really nothing. And the follow-up that we got from Anderson Cooper is that in the end, it's how Kamala Harris felt about being confronted, which was exceedingly weird. Van Jones decided the takeaway from both of these debates is this. Here, let me get this music off here for you.
Visionary. We have pieces.
Dan's
of
about
those.
to announce his candidate.
No, but think about it. Listen, you can point to some fighters, you can point to some problem solvers, you can point to some visionaries. The only person who is all three is Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
That's got to be the takeaway, whether you like it or not.
I mean, so he figures Elizabeth Warren is the one who really came out of this whole thing cleanly. And even though she's wrong about Medicare for all, but I'll tell you one thing, let Elizabeth Warren run on Medicare for all and everything else, it'll be great. President Trump will swamp her. And maybe that's the kind of Bobby Riggs, Billie Jean King face-off that we need. Who wound up winning that match, by the way? Did Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs? Okay, well, I don't want that outcome. But I still want the contest. Let's put it that way. Let's have a redo of Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King with Bobby Riggs winning the event. How does that sound to everybody? Good morning this morning. Your phone calls are welcome. The 844-855-1380. CallTammy.com. Listener line wide open. Good morning this morning, Thursday morning.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. It was the second Democratic presidential candidates debate in as many days. At last night's showdown, Kamala Harris came out against jailing people who cross into the U.S. illegally. And former Vice President Biden said you just can't leave the southern border wide open. 10 candidates on the debate stage last night, 10 others debated Tuesday night. The search goes on for the pilot of a Navy jet. It crashed yesterday during a routine training mission in Death Valley. The plane was on that mission when it went down. 7 people on the ground were hurt. Reports that Osama bin Laden's son Hamza is dead, actively involved in al-Qaeda operations. He was reportedly killed in a military operation. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures 44 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 15 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're only looking at one delay right now, and it's through construction. 44 eastbound has road work before 270 until the end of the year. And right now you are jammed up from Bowles to 270 through that ongoing construction. Really heavy going there. Otherwise, it's construction. The Dorset Midland Bridge over Lindbergh closed with construction until late in August. We also have the on-ramp from Vandeventer to westbound 44 closed with roadwork until the end of the year. And the on-ramp from Watson to westbound 44 closed until the end of October. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Check it out on the web. Good morning this morning. MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com. I was just thinking about him yesterday as I was looking at a part of my floor, and I was thinking, wow, this would look so much different if it were kind of a different color, if it were a different thing. Think how it would pop. Some people are looking at complete remodels, for instance. Maybe they're trying to figure out ways that a room is not right. And sometimes all you have to do is change the floor, and the floor will change everything for you. It's kind of like with Michael Proctor and Proctor Drapery. Sometimes all you have to do is put together a nice window treatment, and everything changes in the house. Same with the floor. It all depends on kind of where you want to make the move. And so michaelsflooringoutlet.com, you go to the website right now, and you're going to, first of all, see a $500 off coupon, which is amazing. And that's going to go, I think, through the 7th of August. And then you're going to see exactly what all that he has to offer you in terms of ceramic tiling, in terms of the wood flooring, in terms of the luxury vinyls. It's all going to be really beautiful. And you're going to have such variety. You're going to be knocked out by the variety. And you're going to be knocked out by the pricing. And, of course, Michael started this operation 25 years ago with 700 bills in his pocket, and now he's got 4 great locations to serve you, employees that have been with him for years, a couple of decades now. And so they know all the ins and outs, and they know the Michael Reynolds vibe. They know what he is expecting from them. And so they're going to serve you well at Michael's, not only in price, not only in variety, not only in quality, but also in installation. Check it out on the web. It's michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey neighbor, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. We sell a house every 30 hours. We list it, we sell it, and you get to move on to your next adventure. Let's face it, life is busy, and who has hours to wait for strangers to show up so you can show them your home? Not to mention the tons of legal paperwork to sift through. I have been selling homes for over 23 years. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Never paint again. This is Darren, owner of Rhino Shield. Want to eliminate painting your home, business, or church? Call the experts at Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic wall coating to regular paint and vinyl. Perfect for aluminum, steel, unpainted brick, block, stucco, EIFS, drive-it, cement board, and wood sidings. Rhino Shield eliminates wasting time and money painting year after year. Our ceramic coating deflects 90% of the sun's UV rays and 100% of the moisture. Our clients want affordable protection with the elimination of maintenance. Rhino Shield protects your biggest investment while maintaining your architectural features and gives you the curb appeal you deserve. Make your home great again by working with the Rhino Shield experts. A+ rated with the BBB. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Right now, there's a child living in extreme poverty with no future and no hope.
But you can bring hope when you become a Compassion International sponsor. Just text the word child to 83393 and sponsor a child right now.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
You know, I forgot when I plugged in this other computer. I forgot this other computer. That's the whole reason I wasn't using it in the first place.
That's right.
Because it just had like one channel going on it.
Right.
I mean, you can hear it, right?
Yeah.
It actually sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It's still coming off just the left side, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, predominantly, that's for sure.
Why is your car radio coming off to the left side, people? Now I'm into this. Now I'm in this computer hell. I started trying to migrate iTunes. I think Bill knows how to do it, but
I enjoy watching you trudge through it. No, you've always had a war with iTunes, man. Since the first day I've ever heard you.
I know, and it's like I have war with like what I need the most. You know what I mean? Like what I live the most. Like music is my life, you know. And it's just like me to have the one thing in my life that I actually seem to have control over. Be controlled by a iTunes, a computer that will tell me when I can hear it and when I can't. Thank you very much. You're not authorized, sir. iTunes is like, I'll tell you when you can listen to the only thing practically that you have any control over in your life. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like I have control over that in my life. And iTunes is like, yeah, you're right, you don't. I'm iTunes, and you're you who you are. That's all I'm saying. So, like I did, okay. Here's the story. Then I'll get through. I mean, I'm obviously giving you these first world problems here, but so I got this new computer because I had to, because I had to have enough of a computer to begin the process of some of the work I'm doing outside of radio and everything else. And so got this new computer, and then I did the whole migration thing. And so I migrated all of my stuff from one computer to another, to my new computer. But iTunes decided just to simply give me a little bit of my iTunes, of the thousands of songs I've downloaded and paid for, by the way. They decided they were just going to give me like a quarter of those songs onto my new computer and leave the rest on the old computer. I'm like going, well, how is that possible? Why would you do that? And I can't figure that out. I tried the whole thing again last night to migrate everything else, and I couldn't do it. So I don't know what the trick is, but obviously it's something, I have to go into settings and push this or do it. I don't know. But if you know a little bit about this, you can help me out at 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com real estate listener line, and you can help me out that way. So if you want to do that without iTunes, I'm nothing. Yeah. I mean, and it's like the one venue it's my favorite thing. It's like, it'd be like some people love movies, or they do Netflix and they do all this kind of stuff and master this kind of thing. But it's like the one place where I have, everything. I've compiled my whole life practically, my whole, obviously, computer life. And and I can't do it. So, which means I have to now I broke out the old computer that I'm using for the music and the new computer I'm doing for this. And the old computer, of course, the reason why I retired it is because also it didn't have a good thing, audio thing. So I was using my iPad for the music.
You've got like $6,000 worth of Mac stuff on your
I've
desk,
got 3
and
computers.
you can't listen to your.
I have to charge the iPad because it's not charged. So I've got my laptop over here with the music. I've got this over here with that, and I've got my iPad. Hello, Lauren. Well, hello, Lauren. How are you?
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm
doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's up?
So, with my computer, when I was trying to transfer things, Apple would not cooperate. I couldn't get iTunes to work right. It kept doing the same thing you had. I ended up buying some DVDs, just blank ones, writing all my music to that. I could get a few thousand per, and then transferring it over that way.
Yeah,
But
okay.
both of my computers had disk drives.
Well, because that's what Phil suggested in terms of like a stick, like a data stick, and transferring it into like a, what do you call those again? What?
Flash drive.
Flash drive. So yeah.
I couldn't get it to work, and I tried calling the help desk multiple times, and they were helpless.
Yeah.
Not helpful. So that was the only way I could do it. I'm sure there's someone who is much more technical savvy than I am that might have a different tip, but it
Well,
would at least get you your music.
You're an engineer. Now, the only thing with a DVD is I don't have like a DVD player in my thing. Are you talking like an external DVD?
Mine, it's not like a specialized DVD player. It's just a disc.
Okay, yeah, I can't.
Like a disc reader.
Yeah, I don't have I don't have a computer that allows that. But I get your point, though. A DVD or a stick would work. So I guess yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren's
that works.
Lauren's an engineer. I trust her. Did you watch the debate? Did you watch the debates last night?
Oh, I did watch the debate. I do have to say, Sleepy Joe seemed like he woke up.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of zingers there. It was better than I expected, but still no one that I would ever cast a vote for. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Joe Biden didn't fall for the Medicare for All thing, which was wise of him, but anybody else supporting it is going to be down the tubes. All right, Lauren, well thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for calling the show and for listening. Okay, dear. You take care. Yeah, here's Joe Biden. The Joe Biden part of his closing statement. And a lot of candidates, hey, go to KamalaHarris.com or whatever. But not Joe. Joe was going to be different.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
What?
Now I see why that was trending on Twitter. I didn't understand 3030 something was trending. I had no idea what it meant. So that explains that.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll go there. Joe, what is it again? Joe 30. I can't keep up with the those.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
Is it 30300? Hold on.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
30330. Well, obviously it's a text thing. But I wonder, I guess they put their closing statements in the teleprompter for them, I guess. That's how that works. So he didn't say like text it or just say go to Joe 3033. But if I do go to Joe 30330, I can't, go to Joe 3. You have to text that. I'm going to text it. Let's see, Joe 30330. See, I could never remember that. Let me just see. Joe 30330.
Text the word Joe to 30330.
Oh, see,
that's what
that's even worse.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Go to Joe 30. So everybody's like trying to stab into their. I don't think everybody was. But what do I do, Joe?
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
30 Joe. Go to Joe. Oh, see, okay. Now, what if you do that and put like something really bad in there? Let me see. Let me put something really bad in there. Let me see that. I'll do that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but 30330. You see what that mean? That did. That was just me. No, I didn't get a response. You got to put Joe in, apparently. Only Joe works. You can't put any other name in there. Oh, you know what I'm doing? Put Trump in there. Trump in there. Text Trump to Joe 30330.
If you agree with me,
throw.
Go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
So now here's the thing with Joe Biden. And again, listen, I can hardly blame Joe Biden. I mean, Joe, how old is he? Like 76 or something like that? I mean, I don't know. Have you ever had anybody who is above the age of 70? Like, have you ever dared to give him your phone to take a picture of you with somebody or whatever? And I'm telling you, they're holding that thing like it's a hand grenade. They have no idea what they're doing. I mean, it's almost shocking sometimes to watch people with their phones who might be above the age of 70 or whatever, and they don't have any idea how to use it. And so that's not a horrible thing. That's just the way that it kind of is. And so I don't really, but the thing is, it doesn't look like, I can't figure out what happens like in those situations. Like, do they put that into the teleprompter? And if they do, would they have helped him out? Like, text Joe 3330, or did someone just put that in there, Joe 33, and not see the text, or did he not see it? Or did he not remember what it was? Or it looked like he was reading into a teleprompter. And so if that's the case, then I'm wondering, like, what...
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
I mean, let's put it this way. If he didn't have a teleprompter, the fact that he remembered the numbers, and I'm serious about this. I'm not saying he is senile. Because, I mean, you notice I couldn't even keep up with the numbers. The fact that he actually remembered the numbers, if that was truly off the cuff and didn't have anything related to this in terms of a teleprompter, then kudos to him for actually remembering the text number. But I think he did, and I think his guys didn't actually didn't help him out there and put the text thing in there. But anyway, that's what you need to do. And the two words that I sent that were not Joe didn't work. So you can play around with it all you want, but you still, And now I'm going to get, let's see. And this is what it says. Joe was amazing at the debate. Now Donald Trump is going to aim all his resources at defeating us. So we are counting on a massive rush of donations to elect Joe and take down Trump. Can we count on your help? And you can chip in if you want to. But I'm sorry, I gave to Marianne Williamson. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate list line, 844-855-1380. Go to Jamie at 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One delay, and by the way, it's getting bigger. 44 eastbound now jammed up between 141 and 270 through that ongoing road work. This has been causing headaches all week and probably will continue. That road work in place before 270 until the end of the year. The Dorset Midland Bridge over Lindbergh, that's closed with construction until late in August. And Lindell Boulevard still closed both ways between Union and Kings Highway with a broken water main that's scheduled to be closed until August 12th. But everything else, pretty good. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
So Michael Proctor is wanting to be really hugely busy summertime, and that's what it's all about, getting busy, keeping your trucks rolling, or in this case with Michael Proctor, your truck rolling, and he's got his mobile design unit ready to rock and roll for you. Summer oftentimes is a time when people are spending a lot of time outside of the home, and they're not always focused on the inside of their home. Window treatments, they've got vacations, they've got kids camps and that kind of thing. So it's it's admittedly a slow time for Michael. So he wants to let you know that to get him into your door, all you have to do is give him a shout, proctordrapery.com, and then you're going to get these summer vacation pricings that you're going to know and love. And, you know, again, sometimes, like I told you with Banner Construction, you don't have to actually go ahead and have the project done right away. You can get on the books and take advantage of the pricing and have Michael come out in September if you really want him to. But just get on the books and get signed up for these wonderful, exquisite window treatments thanks to Michael Proctor. And I'm talking about window treatments that are really easily installed, that are beautiful. I'm talking about Hunter Douglas motorized shades, if you like those, the Norman shutters, which are kind of all the rage these days. I guarantee you, you thumb through any kind of magazine, Metropolitan Home or Southern Living or whatever it happens to be, you thumb through any of these magazines and you're on your way to seeing any window treatment in front of you Michael can get. And you'll also see there are a lot of Norman shutters out there. When you see shutters in a magazine, a home picture or whatever else, those are usually Norman shutters, and they're all the rage. That's why. And they look great. You can get all kinds of different kinds of blends of wood. You can get the light wood look. You can get the dark wood look, whatever it happens to be. And the blade widths are all in variants as well. And so aside from the plantation shutters, they're called plantation shutters, you're also going to get the side panels and this fantastic hardware. It's fantastic what he's able to do for you, and it's all in the comfort of your own home. He's your interior designer. He is the guy who gets it all, installs it all, and takes good care of it all. And he's the man. He's the one-stop shop. 7 days a week is where you're going to be able to also have him coming to you. So it's convenience all the way. It's great pricing, great value. You name it, you got it. So check it out right there. On the web, it's Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Right now, there's a child living in extreme poverty with no future and no hope. But you can bring hope when you become a Compassion International sponsor. Just text the word child to 83393 and sponsor a child right now.
This is Michael Medved at michaelmedved.com for Town Hall. Most leaders of the Jewish community reacted with appropriate indignation to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez using the terms concentration camps and never again to compare Trump's border policies to Hitler's Holocaust. An LA Times op-ed, however, outrageously supports her with the headline, "I'm Jewish and I don't say this lightly. Never again is right now in America." The opinion piece by David Dulin shrugs at the fact that two key purposes of Nazi concentration camps, providing slave labor and perpetuating mass killing, have never been witnessed at border detention facilities. Nazis ripped millions from their homes against their will, but today's asylum seekers left home by choice to find refuge in America. But failure to welcome all comers hardly amounts to Nazism. To claim otherwise distorts the true nature of the Holocaust and undermines our ability to resist real fascist dangers should they ever arise. I'm Michael Medved.
Sponsored by ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom. Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, my name's John Lee Pettimore, same as my daddy and his daddy before. You hardly ever saw Granddaddy down here. They only come a town about twice a year. You buy 100 pounds of yeast and some copper line.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday to all of you. It's Common Sense Radio. Your phone calls are welcome. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line. And it's interesting. I didn't even know Kirsten Gillibrand was still kind of in the same old in action. I didn't know that she was still around, but she obviously is, and she's ready to rock. Or she's ready to clean. Like, you think that it's a good look for one of the female candidates to have as her task the first thing she does when she's elected president is to start cleaning? I mean, you don't want to do that yourself, right? As a woman, you get to the Oval Office, your first task is to get the job done, get things done, but not to go and start cleaning. You've had enough of that, thank you very much. But she wants to clean. Kirsten does. Kirsten Gillibrand.
So the first thing that I'm going to do when I'm president is I'm going to Clorox the Oval Office. The second thing I'm going to do...
Yeah. It's funny, but I don't know. Being on your knees scrubbing with Clorox isn't the exact look that I was thinking of, when I would think you'd be the first female president, Kirsten, but clean away, my dear.
As I will re-engage on global climate change. And I will not only sign the Paris Global Climate Accords, but I will lead a worldwide conversation about the urgency of this crisis.
Yeah. First of all, the climate change thing, it takes a lot of guts to get out there and promise people you're going to destroy their personal economies again. We're going to go back. We're going to re-engage with the climate change issue, which basically means we're going to go back to killing off coal. We're going to go back to increasing people's energy bills. We're going to go back to destroying jobs. We're going to go back to suffocating regulation. And again, as we pointed out yesterday, how urgent can this climate change be when everybody and their brother, including Obozo and Leonardo DiCaprio, head off to Italy in their private jets for a climate change conference? It can't be that urgent, let me tell you. But for Kirsten, it is. 844-855-1380 to calltammy.com, real estate listener line.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. 10 Democrats running for president take on themselves and President Trump. Correspondent Tim McGuire.
In the second CNN debate, former Vice President Joe Biden denounced Medicare for All, singling out New York Mayor Bill de Blasio and California Senator Kamala Harris on his $30 trillion price tag.
I don't know what math you do in New York. I don't know what math you do in California, but I tell you, that's a lot of money, and there will be a deductible. The deductible will be out of your paycheck.
As for families crossing the border with Mexico, Harris and others argued against detention.
These children have not committed crimes and should be not treated like criminals.
All of them blasted President Trump. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker.
We in the United States Congress should start impeachment proceedings immediately.
Some of those on the stage will not reach the party's tougher requirements to get into September's debates.
And the Heritage Foundation's Genevieve Wood says this week's debates highlight a glaring ideological divide in the Democratic Party.
There is definitely a far left wing, and there's a more moderate wing. All of them want to spend more money than Republicans do, but the bottom line is there are definitely some who want to go farther left than others.
She says a roaring economy will make it tougher for any of the Democrat challengers to unseat President Trump. Still missing, the pilot of a Navy fighter jet that crashed yesterday morning in Death Valley. 7 people on the ground hurt when the plane went down. The search for the pilot continues. A natural gas pipeline explosion overnight in Lincoln County, Kentucky, left 1 person dead, 5 others hospitalized. The explosion sending flames shooting 300 feet into the air. Nearby railroad tracks were destroyed. A mobile home park had to be evacuated. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 26 points. S&P futures better by 1. NASDAQ futures up 9 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A couple of delays that don't have anything to do with road work. 270 northbound Big Bend to Manchester starting to slow. 64 westbound 15th Street to 55. And then 44 eastbound is still tight. Bowles to 270 into that ongoing road work. So that problem still with us. We've also got a lot of ramp closures with road work. Your on-ramp from St. Charles Rock Road to eastbound 270 closed with road work until late August. And the off-ramp from southbound 270 to eastbound 70 also closed with construction until August 23rd. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Do you owe the IRS or state back taxes that you can't afford to pay? If so, listen carefully because you may qualify to have your debt dramatically reduced by up to 90%. You heard right. The IRS has made it easier than ever to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program may end any collection efforts against you, resolve your tax problem, and possibly reduce your back taxes by up to 90%. And all you have to do is make one phone call to Victory Tax Solutions. The IRS can garnish your bank account, pension, and savings. So don't wait. If you have unfiled tax returns or unpaid tax debt to the IRS or state, these special programs are available to you now. Stop your worrying and call the hotline at Victory Tax Solutions today to see if you qualify and potentially save thousands of dollars. For this free information, call 800-813-1105. 800-813-1105. 800-813-1105.
Rick Pogue here to tell you that real beauty is on the outside. I'm referring to your home, of course. We all want the most attractive home on our block with the very best curb appeal. Presenting the Outside Elegance Collection by Arrowhead Building Supply. Simply put, Outside Elegance is your answer to giving your home that luxurious appearance without the huge price tag. Arrowhead's Outside Elegance Collection features all those products you've dreamed about having on your home but never thought you could afford. Products like metal roofing that looks just like shingles, slate, or tile with a lifetime warranty. Composite slate roofing that looks just like the real thing at a fraction of the cost. James Hardy fiber cement siding with the beauty of wood but the strength of cement. LP Smart Side engineered wood siding with the look and feel of authentic wood siding but also a 30-year finish. Provia manufactured stone. Yes, you can afford stone on your home as well. We have many colors and profiles available. If you need a contractor, Arrowhead services the very best professionals. Visit our incredible showroom near you or call and request a free catalog. Our home's appearance says a lot about who we are. Now is the time to make a bold statement. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This portion of the Allman in the Morning Show is brought to you in part by Suntrip Volvo Cars, West County. Visit WCVolvoCars.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off.
So, good morning. So, it appears that the Sacramento Bee did the work that Anderson Cooper didn't do when he had Kamala Harris right in front of him. And this was shocking to me because I'll go back to this, but I'm going to advance it because I'm going to answer the question about Tulsi Gabbard's claims. Because somebody bothered to check out what they were all about. Because you're talking about a U.S. Congresswoman making an accusation against a U.S. senator on the stage of a presidential debate, accusing her basically of, I don't know whether that's criminal conduct or not, but if you're a prosecutor and you're blocking evidence that would free somebody from death, that's pretty bad. That's a pretty major thing. You would think everybody's radar would be up on that, and especially when you're sitting down with Kamala Harris, and then you play the soundbite again for her. So it's not like Anderson Cooper just kind of forgot that was one of the things that Gabbard brought up. It's not like he forgot that. Because he's playing the soundbite for her. He's sitting right there with her. Tough guy Anderson Cooper, you know. The probing Anderson Cooper. Every time I see pictures of this guy, he's always got this kind of like squinty, I'm going to dig deep into this thing look on his face. Although I did see one where he was in the woods somewhere, and I don't know what that was all about. CNN's putting forth all of these different kinds of ads for their talent, trying to make them into something that they're not. But yeah, so he's like Anderson Cooper's like that proby guy, the guy who gets right into it, supposedly. So let me just play that for you, and then I'll go ahead and answer. I'll ask the question that Anderson Cooper didn't, but actually it's not me asking. It's the Sacramento Bee. But here.
Some of the toughest critique or attacks at you came from Tulsi Gabbard. Just for our viewers who haven't seen it, I just want to play some of that and have you respond.
Okay. You notice how Anderson Cooper changed critique to attack? Because he wanted to make sure that he didn't give credence to Gabbard's claims for whatever reason. So he called it a critique, but then he changed it quickly to attack so that it lost its credibility right off the bat. It was just an attack. But it was a critique. But Anderson Cooper decided he didn't want to be that tough on Kamala.
Some of the toughest critique or attacks at you came from Tulsi Gabbard. Just for our viewers who haven't seen it, I just want to play some of that and have you respond.
Okay. I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond...
So by this time, then, Anderson Cooper's heard that charge twice, at least. One during the debate, which prompted the interview with Kamala Harris, and two, when he's replaying it for Kamala Harris as she's sitting 3 inches away from him.
Sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform.
Okay, so she didn't answer the question on the stage. So you'd think, well, Anderson Cooper not only heard the charges twice, but then also heard Kamala Harris not respond to the charges on the stage at all. So you're Anderson Cooper, you're 3 inches away from this person. At that point, then, you would want to ask her at that point to respond to those charges.
Did you expect that from Tulsi Gabbard? Did
you expect that from Tulsi Gabbard? I guess meaning, did you expect that from another woman? I don't know. I don't know what, or another minority or whatever. I don't know what he meant by that. But that was Anderson Cooper, premier CNN journalist's response to something that should have been totally teed up for him. It's a pretty big deal. I mean, I guarantee you, if anybody who is a legal eagle in Trump's administration tried to block somebody from getting off of death row by blocking evidence, first of all, he'd be called a racist. I don't know what the race of this person happened to be, but still, they would be hell to pay.
Interaction about that in the past, and how do you think it went?
Well, I mean, come on. So anyway, I played that for you earlier. I'll play this. So the Sacramento Bee is a pretty good paper, by the way. Been around a long time. My dad, even back in the day, one of his good friends, Denny Walsh. I wonder if Denny Walsh is still alive. Denny Walsh worked for the Sacramento Bee. He moved from St. Louis. I think Denny Walsh worked at the Globe Democrat for a little while. And when my dad was community relations director at the St. Louis City Police Department, he had a lot of friends in the media, a lot of them at the Globe in particular, because it was a more conservative outfit and more supportive of the police even then. And so he knew a lot of the guys over the Globe, and Bill Fustel and it was the editor over there. Pat Buchanan at the time was a good friend of his at the time, and they all hung out together. And Denny Walsh was another one who hung out with those guys. I'll never forget, Denny Walsh always had this cigar in his mouth. That's how I always remember Denny Walsh is she was always chewing on this cigar. I had to be like 9 or 10. But I remember Denny Walsh always chewing on this cigar, big guy, And then he went off. He went to go and work for the Sacramento Bee. I'll have to look him up. Anyway, the Sacramento Bee did a fact check. Because that's kind of what journalists ought to be doing in terms of really finding out, wow, what happened here? Did Kamala Harris block evidence that would have freed death row inmates? During Wednesday night's presidential debate, Vice President Joe Biden, Tulsi Gabbard went after Kamala Harris over a record of state's attorney general and San Francisco's district attorney. Biden alluded to a crime scandal that involved her office and resulted in more than 1,000 drug cases being dismissed. So that's a Biden thing. And Gabbard claimed Harris blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until she was forced to do so. The Sacramento Bee says both of these statements are accurate. The lab issue is one I'm not really that concerned. But that's a mess up, but the death row case is interesting. This is the case in February. California Governor Gavin Newsom ordered new DNA testing in the 83 murder case of Kevin Cooper. Cooper came within hours of execution in 2004 after being charged with the murders of an adult couple and 2 children. Harris opposed the testing when she was the state's attorney general. She has since said she supports DNA testing and encouraged Newsom to approve Cooper's clemency request. She did not offer specifics on why she did not approve the testing during her tenure. That would have gotten the guy out of the thing. In response to a request for a comment, Harris's campaign pointed to a past statement where the senator called a New York Times columnist last year telling him, "I feel awful about this." Now, it's interesting how Harris, first of all, didn't say that she feels awful about this on the stage last night. And she didn't say that, and well, Anderson Cooper didn't ask her. Now, it looks like Kevin Cooper is a young black man, and he was awaiting execution. And this was a opinion article that was put out by Nicholas Kristof, who is a well-known columnist at the New York Times. And it was an opinion piece, but the headline was Kevin Cooper framed for murder? Now keep in mind, and it appears he was, actually. So the outcome of the DNA test that she opposed freed Kevin Cooper. It exonerated him. It released him from being hours away from being executed. It saved his life. But had Kamala Harris been the one who was responsible for all this, he'd be dead right now, this young black man. Executed for a crime that he did not commit. Now, keep in mind, this is significant on a number of different levels. And Kamala Harris called Nick Kristof, apparently, after this whole thing, and said she felt terrible about the whole thing. Now, why she opposed the whole DNA test and all that kind of stuff is beyond me. I don't know why she did that. But she did wind up calling him and saying that she felt bad about it. And there's no really talk about her necessarily to a large degree in the article. The opinion piece is long. But as State Attorney General, Kamala Harris refused to allow this advanced DNA testing and showed no interest in the case. On Friday, this is in parentheses, on Friday, after the online publication of this column, Senator Harris called me to say, "I feel awful about this," and put out a statement saying, "As a firm believer in DNA testing, I hope the governor of the state will allow for such testing in the case of Kevin Cooper." So the bottom line is she retracted her opposition to the DNA testing. Now, the reason why this is important, and it's not just a situation where she messed up or she did this and she did that. Keep in mind, her big brand is calling everybody racist. You know that. Her big deal going after Joe Biden is that he said some really commonsensical thing about busing, and she branded him on stage as being a bigot. We've already been through there and talked about that and laundered that whole situation, but the reality is she called him a bigot for taking a very reasonable position, and a position that even some black people took about busing and its effect on the black community, whether it was really actually a good idea or not. So she accused him on stage of being a bigot, and then talked about these two Southern lawmakers or whatever they were and talked about that and said that that he was a bigot there too. So it looks like a little bit of projection going on there from a woman who, when she had the chance, just the possible chance of saving the life of an innocent young black man, she didn't do it. And all I see now, by the way, and I'm going to bookmark this because we're going to get back to this at some point, I'm sure, in the progression of this campaign. But the fact of the matter is, I had to search a long time for any coverage or post-coverage of this accusation against Kamala Harris, who is one of the front runners for the Democratic nomination. And one of the biggest, fattest mouths when it comes to calling everybody racist. Who is on the record as being a person, as a state's attorney who blocked or tried to block evidence that would have saved the life of a young black inmate wrongly accused of murder. No wonder no one's covering this thing, except for the Sacramento Bee, apparently. But no wonder no one's covering this thing. Not even Anderson Cooper didn't ask about it. This is unbelievable. Your phone calls are welcome, 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's certainly getting a little bit busier out there this morning. 270 northbound now jam between 44 and Ladue Road. A big delay there. And 44 eastbound is still stacked up between Bowles and 270. That's stop and go through an ongoing roadwork project that's in place until the end of the year. 170 southbound just tight Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. 64 westbound 15th Street to 55, a little bit tight. And 6440 eastbound between 170 and Big Bend, starting to slow there. Still no problems in the westbound direction. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Hey, Allman here for Proctor Drapery. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com. So you're getting ready to sell your home. You want it to look its best. You've gone through the checklist, but wait. Does your home have curb appeal? If you're unsure, you should contact Michael at proctordrapery.com about shutters for your front-facing windows. Shutters have curb appeal, and they can go in any home. They can change the whole look of the home. You can give your home that curb appeal, make it great again and ready for sale. It only needs these shutters to make sure that you have the difference there. Blinds and shades do not make the same statements that shutters do, and you're going to love what Michael Proctor has for you. Norman Shutters. They are all the rage, and they have this new modern look that you are going to love. That's going to put your home on an extra level, that's for sure. Why wait? Schedule an appointment today with Michael. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Right now, there's a child living in extreme poverty with no future and no hope. But you can bring hope when you become a Compassion International sponsor. Just text the word child to 83393 and sponsor a child right now.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm the sun, and I'm confused. On most days, you're all, oh, I love the sun, it's the best. But when you're driving, you're like, wah, the sun's in my eyes. What do you want from me? I shine when I shine. Like right now, you're driving around a curve in the highway, I hit you square in the face and you don't see the car in front of you stop short. And if you've got cut rate insurance, well, that's not too bright. So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Are you in good hands?
This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Put the power of Allstate to work for you as America's largest and strongest insurance company. You can email me at matthewmitchell@allstate.com, or you can call my agents at 855-QUOTE-ME. Folks, there is safety in numbers. Again, the number to call is 855-QUOTE-ME.
The Dana Show, this afternoon at 1. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
So interestingly enough, too, I was talking about Denny Walsh, and old friend of my dad's. He must have been a pretty young man then when he was hanging out with my dad. He didn't seem to be because he was the cigar chomping kind of old soul back in the day when I knew him as a 9 and 10-year-old. Well, it turns out that Denny Walsh retired from the Sacramento Bee after more than 55 years in the news business. Denny, a former Marine, graduated from the University of Missouri Columbia School of Journalism in 1969. That's about when I would be when I would be in contact with him. So I was about 6, and he was 7. It's weird because I don't know how because he left. So in 69, while with the St. Louis Globe-Democrat, he and a guy named Al Dulagach won the Pulitzer Prize for their 3-year project exposing corruption within the St. Louis Steamfitters Union. Then he went on to work for Life magazine, Time, the New York Times, and then wound up at the Sacramento Bee. At Life magazine, he was sued 52 times. Won every single case. Time magazine once called him the most sued reporter in America. So, good for him, man. I should give him a shout. Last time I talked to him, it was actually in 1997 when my father passed away. Then he got a hold of me over at Channel 4. But that was the last time I talked to him. So that's my Sacramento Bee story, people. Right on, Jenny. Here, let me just bookmark that real quickly, people. There we go. Good morning. Yesterday, I kind of closed the show with this, but I want to make sure that I double back on it because Josh Hawley has decided to go way kind of over the top in his internet policing thing. This is starting to remind me a lot of the Tipper Gore rap lyrics thing now. Because to me, I don't care what you say about the internet and about, pre-rolls and YouTube pre-rolls and all this kind of stuff. But at some point, you have to simply rely on Americans and their own regulation as opposed to the government stepping in and dictating whether or not Snapchat streaks can still happen or whether or not there is a infinite scroll or what have you. The government has no business getting involved in that kind of stuff. But Josh Hawley's at the forefront, and I think he's bitten off a little more than he can chew. I get it that he was worried about the dominance of Facebook and Google, and I understand, and rightly so, looking into what's up with these guys and what they're doing and exposing them as being the editorialists that they really are. But now he's gone way too far with this Social Media Addiction Reduction Technology Act. We'll talk more about that. What do you think of it? 844-855-1380. It's the calltammy.com real estate listener line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. 10 of the Democrats running for president took on themselves and President Trump last night in the second presidential candidates debate this week. Health care, immigration, among the issues debated by the candidates at last night's CNN debate. Still missing the pilot of a Navy fighter. It crashed yesterday morning in Death Valley. 7 people on the ground injured when the plane went down, and the search for the pilot goes on. A natural gas pipeline explosion overnight in Lincoln County, Kentucky. 1 person was killed, 5 others hospitalized. The explosion sent flames shooting 300 feet into the air, resulting in some evacuations. On Wall Street this morning, futures pointing to a higher open following yesterday's sharp sell-off. Right now, Dow futures up 27 points. NASDAQ futures 7 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's certainly getting a little bit busier out there this morning. 270 northbound now jam between 44 and Ladue Road. A big delay there. And 44 eastbound is still stacked up between Bowles and 270. That's stop and go through an ongoing roadwork project that's in place until the end of the year. 170 southbound, just tight. Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. 64 westbound, 15th Street to 55, a little bit tight. And 6440 eastbound between 170 and Big Bend, starting to slow there. Still no problems in the westbound direction. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
All right, friends, Darren, the all-call for all of you with Rhino Shield. And boy, there are so many different ways of making Rhino Shield, this beautiful ceramic coating, work for you, for your home, for your business, for your farm, for your vacation home. The Rhino Shield product is legendary now. Darren has done a great job of growing it here in the community and growing its beautiful look. You can pretty much see it everywhere. Exposed brick is the perfect place for the Rhino Shield ceramic tiling. Exposed brick is amazing, and it is, but it looks better when it's painted, essentially, or when it's coated. And you could come with all kinds of different colors and things in the Rhino Shield menu and make that home beautiful, I'm telling you. Or, you know what, on top of that, if your goal is to make something beautiful, maintenance-free, and waterproof, then you've got the right product there, too. It's 100% waterproof. And Darren will come to you, and he'll bring his cardboard box that he has Rhino Shielded and pour water in it, and you can't see a drop come through. It's that solid of a product. Plus, it is a 25-year warranty, which means you can transfer it when you're selling a home or whatever else. It becomes a really good selling point, a real gem there in terms of the warranty. 25 years, it's a long time. I guarantee you can't guarantee a paint job for 25 years. That's for sure. For a vacation home, it's perfect for you not having to maintain the thing every time you go down there. Like, oh, I got to paint this thing again. I got to do this. I got to do that. And, of course, when it comes to its usefulness as a insulator, it's great, too. So 90% of the UV rays are blocked by the Rhino Shield product. And right now, you're getting 20% off. We've upped it. It's 20% off any kind of brand new Rhino Shield work you're getting done. 877-25rhino.com, 877-25rhino.com, or just on the telephone, 877-25rhino.
This is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. We sell a house every 30 hours. Buying a home is a big decision and a big investment. It's where your child will take their first steps. It's where you will plant your first garden. It's where your family will enjoy Christmas mornings. Your new home is a place to go to escape the world. It's your home and your memories start here. Let us help you get there. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Right now, there's a child living in extreme poverty with no future and no hope. But you can bring hope when you become a Compassion International sponsor. Just text the word child to 83393 and sponsor a child right now.
Let's face it, things happen in our daily life that may get us off track. Tooth pain and aches can happen when we least expect them. Get back on track with a visit to Dr. Anna Smith of Dentistry with TLC. Dr. Anna prides herself on helping patients when it's convenient for them, even during lunch hours, and always providing a judgment-free office. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC is here to help. Need a root canal? Dr. Anna can perform the procedure in about 10 minutes and get you back on the road. Have sleep apnea? While you're there, talk to Dr. Anna about an oral appliance to help you get a better night's sleep and feel well rested the next day. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC, located in Godfrey, Illinois. Call today at 618-466-0733. That's 618-466-0733. Or visit DentistryWithTLC.com to learn the TLC difference. That's DentistryWithTLC.com.
This portion of the Allman in the Morning Show is brought to you in part by Suntrip Volvo Cars, West County. Visit WCVolvoCars.com.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380.
844-855-1380.
And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
There seems to be a way to linger on. Where we stumble, where we
Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday to all of you. A little chill music, man. A little summer chill. A little summer chill for y'all. Maxie, what was Josh Hawley's office's response to us? I think, didn't we reach out to him twice or something? Or?
No, I just reached out yesterday. I have not heard back from Katie yet. That's his person.
Okay.
I think you're totally right on about the Tipper Gore comparison. It is a bridge too far.
Yeah. It's really kind of embarrassing, to tell you the truth. I mean, Josh Hawley's a good guy. Just did you tell him what we wanted to talk to him about, or do you want to just?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, no wonder. Maybe why don't you tell him that we want to talk about how awesome and amazing he is?
I will follow up with that. Yes.
Just say, never mind. We want to talk about how amazing Josh Hawley is, how he's the future of the Republican Party.
Yeah, the internet. What's that?
Yeah, right. So yeah, this is too much. This is not something we ought to be supporting. This nanny state approach to the internet, to everything else. And you all know I'm actually pretty hands-off even when it comes to regulating Facebook and regulating Google, all that kind of stuff. And I get the frustration with it. I understand all of that with people. I get how frustrating it is to kind of have people kind of running your life to a certain degree. But I understand Josh Hawley's approach to all this, but I'm one who has taken the approach that I don't, Facebook doesn't owe me anything, and Google doesn't owe me anything either. Coca-Cola doesn't owe me anything. McDonald's doesn't owe me anything. I don't have the right to a cheeseburger, and I don't have a right to be on Facebook. If Facebook doesn't want me there, and Facebook wants to change what I'm doing or censor me, and censoring is a term, actually it's a legal term, and only the government really can censor. Then the problem I have with this whole thing, with the Google and the Facebook stuff, especially when it comes to Facebook, is you got to be really careful when you are trying to even playing fields on these social media platforms. Like for instance, Twitter, I've basically given up on. I don't tweet anymore. I don't find it, and it's not just because of the trouble, but eventually. In hindsight and everything else, I just learned that it really isn't a useful tool for me, and it's a highly negative thing, and I don't need more negativity in my life. I just don't need it. I don't like to see what other people are tweeting about. I'm just not interested in it. And so I don't do the whole Twitter thing. And I'll leave everybody else to their swords and torches and that kind of thing. But Twitter doesn't owe me a platform either. And so what I'm saying is my concern is when we go after things like this, like for instance the way Hawley was, where you consider evening the playing field. My concern is that I'm next. Like my business is next. Because I guarantee you start to regulate Facebook and you start to regulate Google and you start to make them represent everybody or whatever. And I realize the problem is that Google and Facebook and all that kind of stuff claim that they're not pushing buttons and censoring, but we all know they do. We know that. So they're lying, but what else is new? I mean, I was told by the internet that I could find RC Cola at Target. Well, the internet lied to me. I can't find RC Cola at Target. But when I Googled or did whatever, hey, where can I find RC Cola in St. Louis? It said Target. It was a lie. But I don't have any recourse against Google for lying to me and tricking me. I was going to do that because I had this moon pie. I was going to show you how to eat that moon pie with RC Cola that I brought home from the truck stop when I was on the way back from Indiana. I'll show you that's what you do. But I asked where I could find RC Cola. There wasn't any RC Cola there. And in fact, it looks to me like Target only stocks Pepsi products. To tell you the truth, Pepsi and Coke products. There wasn't an RC to be found anywhere. I didn't even bother going to the front desk and asking and showing them my phone. The internet says you have RC Cola, but you don't have RC. It's like I walked out. It's like the internet lied to me again. Great. So what? But they don't owe me the truth. I don't know how that wound up there, but I'm sure, Target probably has some kind of algorithm or something going on where because you can manipulate this stuff. You could change it. That's why we have all these people, these supposed conservative talk show hosts with a couple million Twitter. That's a lie. Look at their ratio. Come on. It's a big, fat lie. The follower thing, that's a lie. You can buy followers. You could buy people like that. I mean, you could buy them by the hundreds of thousands if you wanted to. If you had the money. It's all fake. It's all a lie. Again, look at the ratio. Right, Phil? You look at the ratio.
You got it. That's right.
Some person with 2 million followers who gets 300 likes on their thing. That shows you what a lie that is. But anyway, I know but I've accepted that. I don't get too upset about that or too crazed about all that kind of stuff. I don't expect that to be even. But the problem is when you start to make sure that Google is giving equal weight to this person and that person, or that Facebook is giving equal weight to that point of view or that point of view, suddenly they're going to come after my industry. And that's when you get the fairness doctrine out. And the fairness doctrine, we've seen that before, where for every person I interview on a particular topic, I must have the opposing view on. And I guarantee, or they'll force me to take a phone call from a left-wing crazy that I don't want to take. I want to reserve the option of being able to decide who I'm going to put on the air and who I'm not going to put on the air, who I'm going to engage with and who I'm not going to engage with. So you open that door and suddenly when the Democrats are in charge, I mean, already you've seen what happened with Obama spying on reporters and that kind of thing. When Democrats are in charge or control the Senate or whatever, then they're going to start I guarantee you they'd start going after the media, and specifically talk radio. There's a time there when they were going to, excuse me, when they were going to try to bring back the fairness doctrine, which would force me like once an hour to have a liberal point of view represented. I guess the good news about that is once an hour, the left-wing guys out there would have to present the other side too, but we don't want that. So anyway, now of course Hawley has this Social Media Addiction Reduction Technology Act, or SMART Act. So Hawley wants the federal government to get in and end YouTube's autoplay feature, which is, again, and Phil, you explain this. You go to YouTube and something automatically plays.
You just never have to touch it again. You just push a button and you walk away, and it plays all day long, basically.
Because it keeps going back. Yeah, back. Does it play in the same genre?
It pretty much does. Yeah.
Okay, so if I watch Don Rickles and Johnny Carson and finished up that segment, the next YouTube might be Don Rickles roasting. Okay. Well, some people like that. Some people want to start that loop where they're looking at all different. Sometimes people find out new things and catch new things with the autoplay feature. It's a good thing. But here's the thing. It might be a bad thing, but it's none of my business. And it's none of Hawley's business, and it's certainly none of the federal government's business. It would also outlaw such features as infinite scroll, which I don't understand. Again, what is that again, Phil?
I just read about this just now. I'm reading more about Hawley. He's really, really into this.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, infinite scroll is what Facebook's made a ton of money off of this. This is what really changed the game for them in their news feed. So that's just so you just keep scrolling down, and then it aggregates a whole new page. So it never ends. It's a never-ending scroll of ads and things and stuff to catch your attention. So
right. So
yeah, never ending.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, it might be a bad. I mean, this is all to cure social media addiction. So that apparently is it making people addicted to the internet because they have autoplay and infinite scroll. And again, good, bad, whatever, it's none of my business. It's none of Hawley's business, and it's none of the federal government's business.
Hawley says it exploits human psychology.
Yeah, what else doesn't exploit human psychology? What's next? Make sure that McDonald's doesn't use the orange and yellow color code that makes you hungry? You know what I mean? Is Josh Hawley going to now go after product placement at Schnucks? Because it plays with your psyche? You got to get into that someday, man. That's some cool stuff right there. The product placement, when you get the grocery store tactics, those are cool. When you get right why they put things where they are, and there's a whole science to it. It's amazing. But is that, what do you call that? Psychology what?
Exploiting human psychology.
Everything exploits human psychology. I mean, come on. Look at your televisions. Look at your ads. I mean, that's ridiculous. Then he wants to outlaw Snapchat's streaks, which encourage users to engage in unbroken communications with friends. I don't even know what that means. The bill would additionally require social media companies to install time use dashboards. Come on. This is Republican? This is conservative? I mean, is Hawley I mean, I'm sure maybe in Hawley's world, these people, unfortunately, who are of that age now, and they have little kids, and they're never home. And they want the government to come in and do their parenting for them. But I'm sure everybody's in that world there. Everybody's like, yeah, we need some control over this. It's like, no, you need some control over this. You're by doing it yourself. And it would give the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Department of Health and Human Services the power to regulate other features in the future. So it's handing over this power to two other bureaucratic regulatory agencies. I can't believe this is coming out of a Republican's brain or a conservative's brain. Doesn't make any sense to me. And as I pointed out earlier, and Maxie agreed in terms of this reminds me of the early 90s. And there was Tipper Gore and all these other people on this crusade against rap lyrics. Unbelievable. 844-855-1380. The call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
Live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, we've been accident-free for a while. We still are, but we're looking at some heavier delays. 270 northbound, pretty backed up there between Big Bend and Ladue. Westbound is clear. 170 southbound, Brentwood Boulevard to 6440, just a little snug there. 64 westbound, 15th Street to 55, just starting to get tight. 6440 eastbound, you'll see delays there, but night to Big Bend. Westbound direction still clear. Now, we do have stop-and-go traffic on 44 eastbound between Bowles and 270 into that roadwork, and it's causing a significant delay. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Hey, Allman here for ThrottleNet. You know, summertime, you might see the sign, hey, gone fishing. Well, you know what? Fishing, as in P-H-I-S-I-N-G, is happening every single day. And I want you to know, ThrottleNet is there to make sure your business is protected against ransomware attacks as well. Do you know that you're susceptible? It doesn't matter what kind of information you're dealing with. Anybody can be a victim of ransomware. ThrottleNet, they're the white hats. They go in, pretend they're the black hats, poke your system, but instead of exploiting it, they fill the holes. It's ThrottleNet.com.
Join the TJ Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm a hailstorm. I love sculpting ice almost as much as I like throwing it. After all, what's the point in making ice if you can't chuck it at stuff?
Today, I prepared some beautiful golf balls and nickels, and I'm super pumped to serve them up. Thanks for parking outside.
It gives me a target.
Ah, nice and denty. And if you have cut rate insurance, your car might just stay like this.
So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Greetings, St. Louis. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Put the power of Allstate to work for you as America's largest and strongest insurance company. You can email me at matthewmitchell@allstate.com, or you can call my agents at 855-QUOTE-ME. Again, the number to call is 855-QUOTE-ME.
Bundle and save up to 30% with an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
America's First News with Matt Ray gets you up to speed. Mornings from 4 to 6, right before Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Is there nothing I can say, nothing I can do to change your mind? I'm so in love with you. You're too deep in, you can't get out. You're just a burger in a rich man's house.
So just be careful with this particular bill. I don't have the number in front of me. I'd be curious to see how this thing goes and who votes for it and who doesn't. But it's nanny statism at its absolute worst. We talk about grocery stores. Remember when Schnucks came out with those? They were on the shopping carts, and there were these machines that were on the shopping carts, and they would, when you're in a certain aisle, they would in the soup aisle, let's say, up would pop a Campbell's soup coupon or something, or a Campbell's soup thing, and they were on the shopping carts for a while there. They were kind of a new thing, and brought out. You remember those? Do you remember those?
I do remember those. And are those the ones where the coupons would be sitting on the shelves? They would pop out of a little machine and you pull them? Yeah, my kids would pull them all the way down there.
Yeah, they have that. It was kind of like in the mid 90s or that kind of thing. Well, it was fine until it turned out that really what this was it was genius, because really what it was tracking your cart. And so I'm not accusing Schnucks of committing any kind of nefarious act. I'm just saying that what was happening is that it had dual benefit. That not only was it giving you the coupons, which seemed to be a reasonable benefit, and the kids something to look at and while they're sitting there and touch and do all that kind of thing, and the screen is there, but it also afforded the Schnucks to see where you were going. So by the time the day was done, when all of the data was downloaded, they could see which aisle was most heavily trafficked, which aisle was least heavily trafficked, because really what it was doing was it was monitoring your movements. And then that would then give them more information about product placement and where the high visibility areas are. In the main aisle, they could see, where people stopped and they could see, what coupons people were grabbing most and all that kind of stuff. It was a great tool. It was a great research tool. I mean, I don't know why they stopped it. I don't know what was happening there. I don't know whether people complained or I don't know. Like they thought it was too Big Brother-ish, whatever. But then at that point, if you didn't like it, then you go to Deerberg's if you don't like that. It's one of those things where I'm more than willing to be a guinea pig or to be monitored. I don't care if it's helping you out. That's fine. I'm good with that. Here's what I don't like, though, which I think is way intrusive. I don't want to have to give you my email address when I'm going to Michael's. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah. I'm never. If I've ever gone in there really for any length of time, it's always been me to pick up something. I was in a hurry. And I've been waiting forever, first of all, because I usually only have one person checking people out there, unfortunately. But I go, and it's like, I get to the thing, and then suddenly it's like, what's your email address? I'm like, I don't want to give you my email address. I do, though. I spit it out right away, dutifully. Because I don't get, these people are asking me. It's not their fault. They're told to ask me, so I'm not going to sit there and argue with a person checking me out. It's not their fault that it's happening, but I don't like that. I don't want to give you my phone number or anything. Just saying. 844-855-1380, the call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line. It's Common Sense Radio, and happy Thursday.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Immigration, healthcare, President Trump among the topics of debate at last night's Democratic presidential candidate showdown in Detroit. Cory Booker pushing for impeachment.
And so this is a difference with a lot of us on this debate stage. I believe that we in the United States Congress should start impeachment proceedings immediately.
But fellow White House hopeful Michael Bennet says impeachment could backfire on Democrats in the election.
We've got the August recess. Then we are 4 months away from the Iowa caucuses. And I just want to make sure whatever we do doesn't end up with an acquittal by Mitch McConnell in the Senate, which it surely would. And then President Trump would be running saying that he had been acquitted by the United States Congress.
10 candidates on the CNN debate stage last night. 10 others debated the previous night. The Heritage Foundation's Genevieve Wood says it's obvious Americans will have a clear choice when they vote for president.
The bottom line is there are very different perspectives on public policy, whether it's health care, whether it's how we deal with our schools, whether it's how we deal with foreign policy, you name the issue. There's a very big difference between the way Republicans look at things and Democrats look at things.
One person is dead following a powerful explosion and intense fire. It engulfed a natural gas pipeline in Lincoln County, Kentucky overnight. Emergency Management Director Don Gilliam says the blast unleashed flames that shot 300 feet high.
That fire created an immense amount of smoke and heat and debris due to the explosion.
5 people were hospitalized. That explosion and fire destroyed some nearby railroad tracks and forced people to evacuate their homes. On Wall Street this hour, Dow futures up 18 points. NASDAQ futures 8 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're looking at a few problems out there. One accident at this hour, 6440 eastbound after 70. We still have a crash there blocking a left lane. 44 eastbound heavy, Bulls to 270 into that road work there. And that is gotten heavier again this morning. 70 eastbound, your stop and go route Z to 6440. That's a good sized delay. 270 northbound jammed up. Tesson Ferry to Ladue. 44 westbound before Kings Highway. Earlier accident there gone. And 6440 westbound Kings Highway to Laclede Station Road is slow. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Wages and benefits for American workers rose in the second quarter. Verizon Communications reporting earnings today, and Broadway mourns the passing of Broadway producer Hal Prince. Those stories next.
This is your Stock Market Bulletin. I'm Bobby Richards. The CEO of an obscure $3 tech stock founded by the blue-collar son of a police officer has captured the attention of Donald Trump. Trump met with the CEO at the White House, and since then, Donald Trump appears to have become the company's #1 fan. He showed up at a groundbreaking ceremony. He called the CEO one of the most successful business people across the globe, and he said what they are doing is the 8th wonder of the world. We decided to investigate for ourselves and reached out to the premier stock analyst in the United States, Oxford Club chief investment strategist Alex Green. Alex told us the company is landing massive deals, including $450 million with Nokia, $395 million with Microsoft, $828 million with Cisco, and $29.2 billion with Apple. The company is set to create 50,000 jobs in America this year, and Alex has now declared this $3 stock his #1 play for 2019. Go to OneStockRetirement.com for more details, including how much Alex expects the stock to rise this year.
American workers' wages and benefits rose in the second quarter. The Labor Department reporting the increase was 2.7%, only a tenth of a point behind the increases of the first quarter. In Verizon Communications reporting its second quarter earnings, those earnings expected to be flat versus a year ago. And Broadway is mourning the passing of legendary producer Hal Prince at the age of 91. The winner of an incredible 21 Tony Awards. He produced Phantom of the Opera and dozens of other hit musicals. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Join the TJ Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
Every Sunday starting at 11 a.m., we're your answer for compelling and entertaining programs. Tune in this Sunday at 11 a.m. on your way home from church for the People's Praise Party with none other than Asher Ben Ruby, the Smash. He's a St. Louis radio legend and former MTV host. But instead of rock and heavy metal, Smash brings you the best in gospel music, coming from urban gospel, southern gospel, rock, soul, and pop. And through it all, he shares his personal testimony and inspirational thoughts from his personal relationship with God. The People's Praise Party, this Sunday at 11. And then at 1 p.m., it's time to get your geek on. Host James Install celebrates comic books, movies, video games, and pop culture on Geek to Me Radio. And you never know who will pop in. Previous guests include Stan Lee, Burt Ward, Gene Simmons, and almost every cartoon voice actor from your childhood. Tune in to Geek to Me Radio this Sunday at 1 p.m. You've got the need for inspiration and a celebration of pop culture, and we've got the answer. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. and 1 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, Allman here for Proctor Drapery, Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com. So you're getting ready to sell your home. You want it to look its best. You've gone through the checklist, but wait. Does your home have curb appeal? If you're unsure, you should contact Michael at proctordrapery.com about shutters for your front-facing windows. Shutters have curb appeal, and they can go in any home. They can change the whole look of the home. You can give your home that curb appeal, make it great again and ready for sale. It only needs these shutters to make sure that you have the difference there. Blinds and shades do not make the same statements that shutters do, and you're going to love what Michael Proctor has for you. Norman Shutters. They are all the rage, and they have this new modern look that you are going to love. That's going to put your home on an extra level, that's for sure. Why wait? Schedule an appointment today with Michael. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Good morning this morning. You know, I did. Oh, by the way, coming up, cultural commentator and columnist Larry Alex Taunton. He put together a report in the American Spectator titled, "Don Lemon was not the first to make the Trump is like Hitler comparison. It is part of a much larger and ongoing narrative." And so it's a plot, basically. It's a vast left and right-wing conspiracy as far as I'm concerned, because there are plenty of Republicans who have been slinging that BS for a while. So we'll follow up on that at 8:30. In the meantime, back to Marianne. So Marianne Williamson, I went ahead and did what Jim yesterday said I should do, and I went ahead and contributed to her campaign by buying a couple of Marianne campaign buttons on her website. You can buy Marianne coffee cups and Marianne hats, Marianne t-shirts, whatever. I chose that particular form of button if you're seeing it on YouTube or you're seeing it on Facebook. And it's this particular one this is the interesting button that I thought, because it looks like like you would imagine. It's a 70s-esque type of chalk portrait of her, pencil portrait or whatever of her. It looks like it's like an ad for Estee Lauder or something. But then you have it's Marianne. Then you see those four pink. They look like pink dots, but that's actually 20 above 20. So it's Marianne 2020. So I had to get them, at the very least for souvenir, you know what I mean? But I wanted to, as Jim pointed out, you contribute a little bit to her campaign, and it keeps her on the stage, which is where we want her. Keeps her in play because these people are all so confounded by her, and much the way they were with Trump. And of course, she couldn't be more opposite than Donald Trump, but she's entertaining in that fashion, and the Democrats don't like her around because people are just bored enough, even on the Democrat side, to start to gravitate a little bit towards Marianne Williamson. Now, keep in mind, though, this is not a joke to even the Federalist, which has a story here that you need to kind of pay attention to a little bit. So it's by Tristan Justice, and the headline is, Marianne Williamson is what the religious left has been waiting for. So the article is maintaining that there are a lot of people out there who are looking for some kind of spiritual nourishment in their candidates. And again, I don't look to spiritual nourishment in my candidates. That's not where I get spiritual nourishment. But some people are. And by the way, just as an aside, I don't want to go off the rails here, but I don't know whether you saw my Facebook post about the National Cathedral. First of all, it's not my National Cathedral. I don't know where it gets off calling it the National Cathedral. I don't go there. I go to church there. I go to mass there. There's no mass there. I don't go there. So it's not my National Cathedral, but it's somebody's apparently. It's a little stretch to call it a cathedral too, but I won't quibble. But anyway, they came out and attacked President Trump for being racially divisive. Can you imagine that? So the left loves these guys when it's some kind of some church out there declaring President Trump is evil. But I guarantee you, had the Baptist Ministers of America or whatever it is come out and attacked Obama over abortion or somebody like that, they'd be like crying church and state separation, right? They'd be, hey, church, that's a violation of church and state. But they're very comfortable having all these yahoos at the National Cathedral coming out and attacking President Trump. Just thought I'd point out that hypocrisy. Anyway, the Federalist says, Marianne Williamson is an easy target to poke fun at. That writing is in the Federalist? That sentence? How old is Tristan? Hold on a second here. Figure that out. Tristan Justice is a staff writer at the Federalist. Well, somebody's not editing him or her. Him? Is Tristan a him guy? Him name? Okay. You don't end a sentence. You never, your first sentence ends in a preposition? I guess it's okay. Nowadays, nobody cares about grammar anyway, so what the hell? But that's not a sentence that should. I like this article, so don't get me wrong, but I'm a little bit pedantic about stuff like this, 2020 presidential hopeful Marianne Williamson is an easy target to poke fun at. It's like, actually, all you have to do is an easy target to poke fun, because poke is the action there. All you have to do is it would be weird, but there's a million ways you could redo this sentence. But if you really wanted to do the poke fun thing, just say she's an easy target to poke fun. Or to poke fun towards, or really,
which to poke fun.
It'd be to whom to poke fun.
Yes, there we go.
It really, if you really wanted to be grammatically sound on the matter, you would say 2020 President's hopeful Marianne Williamson is an easy target to whom to poke fun. That's what you would. That's really what you ought to do. But if you really wanted to, to whom to poke fun. But the poke is the action, but they're using at as an action, and it's really not. It's a preposition. You're ending a sentence in it, and it's a severe violation of grammar. People struggle. It's hard to do, but people struggle with it. But a lot of times you really don't need to end a sentence in a preposition. And if you do, you need to then write yourself, which is what I do. I say sorry to end in a preposition, but I didn't. And then that's it. Then you're not ending a sentence in a preposition. It's kind of like over. Like over drives me crazy. I see really well put together journalistic organizations talking about over 500 people or over 10,000 people. And even when I'm reading it to you, oftentimes, if I am reading anything to you from a credible publication, I'm correcting them. I'm doing more than, because over is a physical position. It's not a numerical definition. More than is a quantity. Over is a physical position. So in the end, there's really no such thing as over 500. It's,
Are you one of those guys that liked to diagram sentences?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Are you kidding me? Diagramming. I couldn't tell you what a predicate is. I could not. If you asked me, oh, really? You're such a grammarian. Tell me what a predicate is. I could not tell you what a predicate is. Couldn't. I couldn't. Or subjunctive clause. I could probably tell you what that is. But I'm just saying, I couldn't. I'm not a mechanical person when it comes to grammar. But, a lot of times it just comes from, reading, writing, and all that kind of stuff. The best way to learn English and learn the English language is to read. But anyway, yeah, diagramming sentences, I would be lost. I don't diagram sentences. Anyway, I'm wasting time on this. Tristan, stop writing like that. Anyway, she's developed a large national following over the years with her best-selling books. Oprah Winfrey loves her. She has some pretty wild ideas. She wants to create a new Department of Children and a Department of Peace. Even though technically, as Tristan Justice points out, we have the State Department and the Department of Housing and Urban Development that already kind of do that. But she wants a Department of Children and a Department of Peace. Her teachings are far different from those concentrated on Christianity and even attack criticism from Christian organizations. Williams describes herself as Jewish and attends synagogue on Jewish holidays. Preaches the New Age ideology, a set of spiritual beliefs developed in the 70s. We've been there, done that. And among a lot of people who are her supporters are these young, urban, typically female, not religious, but are spiritually hungry people. They might identify as Christian, according to this article here, but are captivated by pseudoscience guided by spiritual mythology. Now, one of the things that she's been talked about a lot is regarding vaccines. So at one point, she called the government mandates on vaccines Orwellian and draconian. And keep in mind, there are a lot of people in the vaccine suspicious community who are not Republicans and aren't even conservatives for that matter. They're just people living their lives who have issues with certain things. You don't have to be conservative to be concerned about additives and in food and dyes and hormones and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, She says, I'm not anti-vaccine. I think I misspoke in that one sentence, but I'd like to express myself. The fact that you have a problem with the revolving door policy by which Big Pharma, that's good English right there, by which Big Pharma and the CDC and the FDA are so cozy so that millions of Americans who are not anti-science and are not anti-vaccine have some deep concerns. The days of blind faith in Big Pharma are over. So you could see how she attracts certain people who are not always politically, ideologically engaged in every little aspect of the Democrat or Republican agenda who would be attractive to her or attracted to her. So we're probably giving this a little too much, but this, even the Federalist is pointing out that there's a thing, and to me, it's the exact opposite, by the way, of the Trump phenomenon, but it's scarily similar. Because as you know, a lot of us who are conservatives and Republicans, when President Trump came along, Trump the candidate came along, we were highly impressed and we gravitated towards him because our own blind faith in the Republican Party system and its constant state of losing, we were looking for something. And at that point, it wasn't spiritual nourishment on our part because Republicans, conservatives don't look to politicians for spiritual nourishment. That's just not the thing. We want action. We want swagger. We want guts. We want energy. And President Trump had it all. And just so you know, there are a lot of people on the left and the Democrats who believe the same thing about Marianne Williamson. Phone calls are welcome, 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
A couple of big delays at this hour. One of them, 70 eastbound, jammed up from the Blanchette Bridge to St. Charles Rock Road, and 270 northbound, still a good-sized delay there, Gravois to Ladue. 44 eastbound, this delay's come way down. You're still tied Bowles to 270 through construction, but not nearly as big of a delay as we've had. The accident on 6440 eastbound after 70, that's been cleared out of the way. And 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend slows. Westbound, it's Hampton to Laclede Station Road with a backup. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
War, poverty, and disaster have left millions of children around the world orphaned, abandoned, alone. When their parents can't be there, SOS Children's Villages is there in 134 countries, including the U.S., to make a difference in a child's life. Go to sosusa.org.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
If you want
want to be successful in business, surround yourself with good people. If you want to be a successful contractor, then you've got to team up with the right supplier. Rick Pogue here. Arrowhead Building Supply understands the minute your day starts, time is money. With our exclusive 315 service platform, we offer 3-hour delivery to your job site or 15-minute pickup on anything in stock, be it siding, roofing, decks, windows, doors, gutters, or even stone. By the way, you will talk to a real person when you call Arrowhead. No voicemail. Call or stop by the location near you and let us help you grow your business today. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I'm gonna take these rocks and turn them into diamonds, sell them on the corner, bring the money home to you. I'll work all day, set aside my pride.
Hey, Bill is on line one. Bill, welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Jamie. How are you?
Good morning this morning, Bill.
Good morning this morning. So I hear you talking about Marianne Williamson, and I used to listen to her 25, 30 years ago, read her books. She came up with all the people like Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and the psychics like Jane Roberts and the Seth series, and I mean she's in that whole group, and it's a whole touchy-feely. Nothing else really matters but how you feel about things. There's no logical thinking whatsoever in anything that she has to offer. And 25 years ago, I'd have voted for her because I was just of that mind. But now that I'm older and I got a couple of years under my belt, I understand that how dangerous she is. She is speaking the language of lost people.
Yeah,
and that's what's so dangerous about it.
I totally agree with you, and that's what the Federalist is pointing out, especially on the left. And I believe that President Trump, when he was running, was speaking the language of lost people, although we were lost in a different formulation. We were lost economically, lost in terms of what we were seeing the government doing to our economy, to our jobs, to our country. But we were just lost in a different form, but we were lost nonetheless. Yeah. And so that's what they're pointing out, is that there are a lot of people who are kind of, flipping in the wind and doing whatever, and on the left who are seeing her as kind of this entity that they could get behind.
She is a prophet of what's really important to them, which is self-gratification. Which is everything about themselves. She is a prophet.
Yeah,
and it's really super duper dangerous. I mean, I can't emphasize enough because I've read all this. Not everything that she's written, but I've all those people: Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra.
Yeah,
all these people. I don't know if you're familiar with those people, but
yeah, isn't Wayne Dyer the "I'm okay, you're okay" guy? Or was
he probably was.
Okay.
Wayne Dyer's passed, but Deepak Chopra is still out there. They're all of the same ilk, and it's all touchy feely. Your inner self is what should be guiding you, and whatever feels good to you. That's what's. It's really super dangerous.
No, I know it is. It's intoxicating on many levels. Bill, thanks for calling the show. As I pointed out yesterday, my mom, in the 70s, when I was a little kid, my mom was kind of like a quintessential Virginia Slims woman. You know what I mean? She went from being raising 6 kids to becoming a premier life insurance agent with Lincoln National Life. She went from having patterns on the dining room table laid out where she was doing sewing and making clothes to suddenly she had all these books out about insurance and all that kind of stuff. And she was reading Fear of Flying and checking out Red Book and I'm okay, you're okay. And and she was awesome. I mean, I love that. But she'd probably like Marianne Williamson. My mom would. 844-855-1380. The call, Tammy.com, Real Estate Listener Line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Immigration, healthcare, and President Trump among the topics of debate at last night's Democratic presidential candidate showdown in Detroit. 10 candidates on the stage last night. 10 others debated the previous night. The Heritage Foundation's Genevieve Wood says it's clear Americans will have a clear choice when they vote for president next year. One person is dead following a powerful explosion and raging fire. It engulfed a natural gas pipeline in Lincoln County, Kentucky overnight. The blast unleashing flames, it shot 300 feet into the air. 5 people hospitalized. The explosion and fire destroyed some railroad tracks, forced some people from their homes. On Wall Street, the Dow has opened 14 points higher, while the S&P is up 1 point just moments after this morning's opening bell. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
A couple of big delays at this hour. One of them, 70 eastbound, jammed up from the Blanchette Bridge to St. Charles Rock Road, and 270 northbound, still a good-sized delay there, Gravois to Ladue. 44 eastbound, this delay's come way down. You're still tied Bowles to 270 through construction, but not nearly as big of a delay as we've had. The accident on 6440 eastbound after 70, that's been cleared out of the way. And 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend slows. Westbound, it's Hampton to Laclede Station Road with a backup. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Folks, Banner Construction, 569-1050, bannerconstruction.com. They are very, very busy this summer, as you can imagine, and I've talked to people time and time again. Rob Very, who is a friend of mine, and he does runs a company called FORE, F-O-R-E, and he's a kitchen and bath guy. And he was saying the other day that they're so busy, some people are kind of backlogged in this, quote, terrible Trump economy. No, it actually, people are just home improving like you wouldn't believe. And that's a good thing, but it also means sometimes you got to wait. But even if you do have to wait with Banner Construction, which is offering you the premier James Hardy fiber cement siding and offering you the amazing Pella window, the wood window or vinyl window, you're going to really be happy to know that you might be backlogged until September or whatever, but you can get summer pricing right now. So if you go ahead and get on the books, a lot of people aren't doing this right now because they're afraid they're going to be too busy for this to be happening. Well, the truth of the matter is, once you start to get the James Hardy fiber cement siding rolling or the windows rolling, and you get on the books, it could be a while before they're put in. So which is great. For you, if you're worried about the time that you have right now, you have vacation still coming or whatever, getting the kids ready for school or whatever happens to be, your thoughts. But if that's the case, that's okay, because they're not going to be at your doorstep next Monday. It's going to be fine. But you're going to benefit from the lower prices right now in the summer renovation sale, thanks to Banner Construction. Call them at 314-569-1050 or check it out at bannerconstruction.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org.
Summertime in St. Louis. If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877 25rhino.com. Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Dennis Prager, this morning at 11. Now, more Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I want you to remember a love so full it could send us always. And I want you to surrender all my feelings arose today. And I want you to remain.
Good morning this morning and happy Thursday to all of you. And I know that you all were fascinated by the Marianne Williamson campaign, and you might be getting your own your own buttons and all that kind of stuff. You might be looking into that, but you know what? Don't ignore Joe. I want to make sure you don't ignore Joe, because Joe has a special appeal to all of you out there, and he did it at the last moment of the debate, and he was able to let you know, to convey a good way. If you're interested in the Joe Biden
if you
campaign,
agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
yeah. So you go to Joe 30330. Most people are like going, is that a text number? Is that a this? And he's reading it off a teleprompter, which indicates to me that whoever put that inputted that. Didn't either tell him to use the word text or whatever, but it was like, go to Joe 03000.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, again, he's 76. You know, the whole. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he would be.
Somebody bought the domain.
They did?
Yeah. Joe30330.com is taken.
I love it. All right. So you've heard this stuff. Don Lemon has done a lot of this, but so has Glenn Beck. Republicans have done it. And that is the comparison of President Trump to Hitler. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Alex Taunton has been generous enough to offer his time this morning to us. He has authored a special report in the American Spectator, and it's titled "Don Lemon Was Not the First to Make the Trump is Like Hitler Comparison. It is part of a much larger and ongoing narrative." Larry Alex Taunton, welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, my friend. So I'm glad you decided to delve into this, because everything, it seems, is so reflexive these days. It's so casual a reference for Trump to Hitler, or to I think it was Beto O'Rourke who compared President Trump's rally in North Carolina to the Nuremberg rallies, whatever. And so what's up with this?
Well, obviously, part of the agenda here is to smear Trump and to associate him with genocidal maniacs like Adolf Hitler. But many of your listeners will recall, as I'm sure you do, that I think it was maybe 2010, 2011, when Hank Williams Jr. Are you ready for some football? Losing his gig. And why was that? It was because he compared, which was a ridiculous comparison, then President Barack Obama to Adolf Hitler. And except this time we're seeing it. It's much more pervasive, much more regular, much more mainstream.
Yes, and so you point out that it's part of a larger ongoing narrative. Like, is this some kind of a seemingly regimented plot, or like what's going on here then?
Yeah, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. Rather, what I think is going on here is, there is a left-leaning media, most in media would acknowledge that, and they're all too ready to see these kinds of comparisons, and you're seeing mainstream. As you mentioned, Lemon at CNN, the New York Times has done it. Numerous others have done it, and even exactly make the comparison. They said things like, Trump isn't Hitler yet. Things of that nature, and this is just something you couldn't have done 30 years ago. Probably not even a decade ago, and that's because there would have been a lot of Holocaust survivors, many more Holocaust survivors alive, who would have been deeply and rightly offended by these kinds of comparisons.
Yeah, I would say. And so the actual genesis of the comparison, though, which is odd. Like, for instance, I remember the days when Barack Obama first came on, and people were making songs about him, and there was the Barack Obama hymn and all that kind of stuff, and yet it never occurred to me at any level to even like the Hitler or brown shirts. I mean, never really entered into my mind. And so it seems to me that the main gripe that people have in the comparison to Hitler, it certainly is not from a dictatorial standpoint. It must be from the fact that he has such loyal people following him. Is that what it's all about?
Well, that's a great point, and undoubtedly there's an element of that. I do think that the intention here is to alarm. I mean, for instance, if you watch the entire Don Lemon monologue or the conversation that he's having with Chris Cuomo, that's not all he said. He compared Trump voters to the Kool-Aid drinkers at Jonestown. He just went from one offensive remark to another. And when you watch that segment, you can tell that the intention there is to try to frighten people into voting for a Democrat. The left hates Trump, and they hate him with a passion, and I think it's in part because they see him as a traitor to his blue state roots, and also to the fact that this is a guy who is most definitely an opponent of the progressive agenda, if not in his heart. And by the way, this is a really important point I would want to make. Guys like Adolf Hitler, were ideologues. That is to say, they were people who thought ideas mattered more than people, and they were willing to kill as many as necessary to implement their ideas. Same of Mao and Stalin, of others. Trump is anything but an ideologue. He's a pragmatist. He's an American businessman. He's a deal maker. I'm not sure, for instance, that he really has particularly strong convictions on abortion. But he made a deal with evangelicals and social conservatives that if you vote for me, I'll be your guy on this. And he is held to his end of the bargain. And this is something that the left simply cannot stand, and they're wanting to get rid of him because they fear that they can't unseat him in a lawful election.
It's interesting too, and again, I don't reflexively make Nazi comparisons, but I will tell you, and I will admit to making them when it comes to what's happening from the left side to Trump supporters, and what I mean is that this started. Like, for instance, nowadays, the red hat, the Make America Great Again hat, is identified by these people as a marker for you being a racist and as a means of
for their right to abuse you.
Yes, exactly. And I think this went way back to when, I'll never forget it, when Hillary Clinton did what I'd never seen in my lifetime, and that is attack supporters of a political opponent, which up until that time, I don't think ever happened in the history of politics where a politician running against somebody actually went out and verbally attacked their supporters by grouping them in as a bunch of people, in this case, deplorables. And so at that point, then I started to get this idea. It was almost like I made references that were to the Star of David sewn into the clothing, so to speak, because they were or the Scarlet Letter. I mean, take any analogy you want to, but to me, if there's any activity that is more similar to this fascistic IDing of a group of people as your enemy, it's actually being perpetrated by the left, not the right.
Yeah, I can see your point. I think there's no doubt that the left has been quite successful, actually, in painting anyone as anyone who votes for Trump as this is a socially unacceptable thing to do, and hence many Trump supporters won't admit that they're Trump supporters publicly for fear of being denounced as racist and bigots and whatever else. When it comes to the Holocaust, just a little background here. I was very fortunate enough many years ago when I was a student of history. I won a fellowship that sent me to Europe to study the intellectual origins of the Holocaust, and so I've been many times to places like Dachau, Auschwitz, Mauthausen, Buchenwald, Mittelbau-Dora, all of these concentration camps. And what's so outrageous with those kind of comparisons is, of course, these are places. And by the way, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, referencing and then doubling down on this idea that the internment camps for illegal aliens are somehow comparable to concentration camps. These are absurd and offensive comparisons. Also, they trivialize what the Holocaust was. I mean, those were places that were designed with the intention of exterminating their populations. Adolf Hitler killed no less than 11 million people in the Holocaust. Started a world war that saw roughly 55 million people dead. So these kinds of comparisons are simply outrageous and ignorant, grossly ignorant.
Yeah, I mean, and so I guess your caution to me, which I understand, would be to not even go there when it comes to just to assigning this to the left, given that the Holocaust and everything around it is in itself a thing, and is not to be appropriated to any other aspect, because any kind of appropriation of it indicates a diminishment of the horribleness of it. I'm getting that sense from you and how you feel after your travels. So,
I think we risk that, and I get it. For instance, the humor of Seinfeld, the soup Nazi. That's a whole different thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I agree with you that like Antifa, these are brown shirt type tactics. I mean, there's no question that they're endeavoring to intimidate people physically with the destruction of property, with ready to go into the streets and fight physically with people. These are brown shirt like tactics, but I wouldn't want to compare it to the Holocaust.
Right. I love that. Well, we're talking with Larry Alex Taunton, and if you go to the spectator.org website, you can see his article, Don Lemon was not the first to make the Trump was like Hitler comparison. It is part of a much larger and ongoing narrative. Real quick question about the American Spectator, and I know you've written for the Atlantic, and I just was quoting some stuff from the Federalist, and I will tell you that I'm very happy to see these publications alive and well. We're seeing so many, Time and Newsweek, and these things are kind of going away. Newspapers are losing their luster, but I'm really happy to see these mainstays staying alive. I mean, I'm happy about that, but I've always been confused about. Is the American I can't ever tell whether is the Atlantic the one that's liberal or conservative, or is the American Spectator?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Well, so the Atlantic.
No, the American Spectator is quite conservative.
Okay. And the Atlantic is liberal.
If I can, let me throw this in.
Yeah.
Yes, the Atlantic is way to the left. I have written for the Atlantic. I've had couple of articles for them to go viral, but let me throw this in. And by the way, your listeners can go to LarryAlexTaunton.org. That's TAUNTON, LarryAlexTaunton.com.
.com, yeah.
And they'll find me there. And all these articles that I write are there. The Atlantic leans way to the left, and yet they have published me, but they have also trashed me no less than 3 times.
Oh, really?
And the American Spectator, the American Spectator is fabulous. It's your more thoughtful, conservative, website. I would strongly encourage your listeners to check out the American Spectator. A lot of great writing, great writers, broad range of topics that you'll find there. Fox News, I write also for Fox News. USA Today is kind of middle of the road, but USA Today has been very gracious in publishing me quite a lot. And I think that they really endeavor at USA Today to have a genuine American conversation, meaning they might publish an atheist, but they might also publish an evangelical Christian or a Muslim, or they're endeavoring to have a real what do I want to say? Liberal in the proper sense of the word, meaning broad perspective of ideas.
Yeah, it seems like their editorial page leans liberal, but I do notice a lot of times that they're printing stuff that I'm surprised it's in USA Today. So I'm pleasantly surprised by that, and it's interesting too with the Spectator. So it's not because here's what happens is I'm a conservative talk radio host. We have a conservative, and oftentimes we get lured into these so-called conservative publications, and all we get is a bunch of never Trumpism and everything kind of hiding behind this, anti-Trump vibe. National Review, perfectly put, yes. But the Spectator, you're saying, is not like that.
No. The Spectator is your more thoughtful. I shrink from saying intellectual because that maybe intimidates some listeners into thinking that it's all really deep, pointy-headed stuff, but rather Spectator allows for the development of ideas. They're not going to say, hey, your column has to be 600 words.
Yeah, right.
And they're not going to tell you to dumb it down.
Yeah.
So the American Spectator's an old mainstay. It's been around for, maybe probably about 50 years now, I suppose. And your listeners would like Spectator.
Nice. I'm glad to know that, and it keeps us away from the bulwark, as does like 100 different other reasons to keep away from the bulwark. But anyway, LarryAlexTaunton.org is where you can find him on the web, and we'll put a link up there for you. I'm sorry. Yeah, see, I when you were saying .org, I was like, no, it's .com. Now I fell into that thing. It's LarryAlexTaunton.com. People, come on now. Yeah, you'll find it either way. So, Larry,
go there.
Yeah. Thanks a ton for coming and on the show, and we appreciate you very much.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Okay, buddy. Care. No problem. 844-855-1380, the call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
No accidents at this hour, but we do have delays. 270 northbound still the heaviest spot. Gravois to Ladue. Now 70 eastbound has calmed down quite a bit. Blanchette Bridge to St. Charles Rock Road. You'll see a slight delay there. 44 eastbound tightens up between Bowles and 270. You've got roadwork approaching 270 in place there until the end of the year, and that backup at Bowles. Not too bad, though. 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend slows. Westbound side, Hampton to Laclede Station Road. You'll see brake lights there, too. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Opening soon, the most amazing and user-friendly home exterior showroom in the entire Midwest. Arrowhead Building Supply's new St. Peter's facility simplifies life when it comes to choosing your new home exterior. Our 7,000 square foot showroom features a full-sized home as its centerpiece to give you a full perspective. It also includes the Arrowhead Cube home visualizer, allowing you to see what different products and colors will look like on your actual home before selections are made. Our massive product display wall is 100 feet long and 28 feet tall, with more than 50 different roofing, siding, and stone ideas on display. Take the elevator up to the second floor mezzanine and view our show home at roof level. Learn and understand how exterior systems work, such as proper ventilation, and why they are so important to your home's health. While upstairs, visit our beautiful entry door interactive display and make an educated decision for your home's next entryway. Meet your contractor here or just come on in. You won't believe your eyes. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares.
I didn't realize what I was getting into. The whole thing was just a scam. I finally found information on Chuck, and he agreed to meet us. It was just a wonderful experience because he knows that business inside out, and he actually wanted to solve our problem.
I fought the largest timeshare company in federal court, and yes, I won. Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, we can help cancel your mortgage. When you're approved as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation at 1-800-462-3333. That's 1-800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Hey, Allman here for ThrottleNet. You know, summertime, you might see the sign, hey, gone fishing. Well, you know what? Fishing, as in PHISING, is happening every single day. And I want you to know, ThrottleNet is there to make sure your business is protected against ransomware attacks as well. Do you know that you're susceptible? It doesn't matter what kind of information you're dealing with. Anybody can be a victim of ransomware. ThrottleNet, they're the white hats. They go in, pretend they're the black hats, poke your system, but instead of exploiting it, they fill the holes. It's ThrottleNet.com.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Oh, here. Maxie, did I, when we made a reference to that, the Irishman movie, was that preempting your Max on Movies Friday?
No, not at all.
Okay.
They haven't screened that one yet.
Okay, good. Well, then, coming up, we're going to talk about this movie that's coming. So we'll get a couple of Max on Movies in this week. So I want to ask you about this movie because it's Robert De Niro's in it, and of course, you know, you had to do this to me, didn't you? You had to put De Niro in a movie with Pacino and Joe Pesci and Harvey Keitel, for crying out loud, who is one of the greatest actors who ever lived and is great in all these mob movies and stuff. Harvey Keitel. And now, what, am I supposed to boycott the movie because I can't stand Robert De Niro? I can't do that. So we'll follow up a little bit on that and get that going. Plus, your phone calls are welcome, 844-855-1380. I'll follow up briefly in case you missed it about the Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala Harris runoff. Somebody did finally follow up on the fact or no fact regarding the charge that Gabbard made that Kamala Harris tried to block evidence that would have saved the life of a death row inmate. He wound up surviving, living, and not being killed an innocent man thanks to a court, but no thanks to Kamala Harris. It's a pretty big deal. We'll talk about that too. It's Common Sense Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The best way forward on health care, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden says it's not the plan being offered by rival Kamala Harris.
$30 trillion has to ultimately be paid. And I don't know what math you do in New York. I don't know what math you do anywhere in California, but I tell you, that's a lot of money. And there will be a deductible. The deductible will be out of your paycheck.
During last night's debate, Harris criticized Biden's health care blueprint.
Your plan does not cover everyone in America. By your staff's and your own definition, 10 million people, as many as 10 million people, will not have access to health care. And in 2019 in America, for a Democrat to be running for president with a plan that does not cover everyone, I think is without excuse.
10 candidates on the CNN stage last night. 10 others debated Tuesday night. The Heritage Foundation's Genevieve Wood says there's one big issue working against any Democrat hoping to unseat President Trump.
The economy is doing well, and that's a very tough thing to run against when people are feeling good about where they are, what they're able to spend, what they're able to invest in, what they'll be able to do for their families.
A son of Osama bin Laden, said to have followed in his late father's terrorist footsteps, is reportedly dead. Hamza bin Laden apparently killed sometime in the past 2 years. One person was killed, 5 others hospitalized following a massive explosion and fire in Lincoln County, Kentucky overnight. A natural gas pipeline blew up. A Navy pilot still missing after his jet crashed during a training mission yesterday over Death Valley. Search for the pilot continues. On Wall Street this hour, the Dow is up about 72 points. The S&P ahead 11, the Nasdaq up 66. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
No accidents at this hour, but we do have delays. 270 northbound still the heaviest spot. Gravois to Ladue. Now 70 eastbound has calmed down quite a bit. Blanchette Bridge to St. Charles Rock Road. You'll see a slight delay there. 44 eastbound tightens up between Bowles and 270. You've got road work approaching 270 in place there until the end of the year, and that backup at Bowles. Not too bad, though. 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend slows. Westbound side, Hampton to Laclede Station Road. You'll see brake lights there, too. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
You know, I was just talking to, Rob Very, who's a listener to the show, and he is going to be coming on as an advertiser as well. He's in the kitchen and bath remodeling business, and just a great guy, long-time supporter of the show. You probably have seen him on Facebook and everything else before as well, because he's just been around a long time, so we've been together for a while as listener, as broadcaster. So now we're going to come together as advertiser, broadcaster. But anyway, Rob was telling me yesterday about how much he has gained from working with the guys over at Arrowhead Building Supply. And Rob is a contractor. He's just like all the other contractors out there. And Rob says, you know, I get all my cabinets, everything else from them. All the materials I use with the exception of obviously some hardware, that kind of thing. But you know what I'm talking about, is from Arrowhead Building Supply. And he loves Arrowhead Building Supply because they are so contractor friendly, just like they are friendly with consumers. So I've told you about the 7,000 foot square foot showroom with the house built inside of it that we're going to be revealing in a little bit down the line here for the consumer. They've got the cube, which is great because you go in there and you put a picture of your home in there and you can see what all the products look like on your home, which is outstanding. And so it's really just a great service to you as visualizing, as seeing everything in all of its full glory. So it's really important for you to know that Arrowhead is so hands-on. Now, also, when it comes to the contractor, well, similarly, they're fully engaged in making a contractor happy, comfortable, make it easier for them to get their work done, and the 315 guarantee delivery, all that kind of thing down the line is what their promise is. If you're a roofer, they have a shingle recycler out there for you. They're not charging you by the minute, by the hour, by the day even. It's a one-time charge. They bring it, pick it up again. All those things, they make it so easy for you to make your customers so happy. So Rob and all the other contractors out there love Arrowhead Building Supply, and so do I. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Summertime in St. Louis. If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith, the #1 provider of oral sleep appliances in the United States. Learn more at cpapsucks.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to all of you. Coming up, we've got Father Tom coming in at 9:30 for the weekly Hey Padre segment. And, of course, you know he has his own little show here. The Allman Arts presents Quadrangle Commandership Communications Center. And so, yes. So last night, even though Joe Biden was too smart to be falling for the Medicare for all thing, but he didn't do much better when he talked about rolling back the clock when it comes to coal, fracking, and fossil fuels. I mean, this was an idiot talking here. This is a person who is warning you he's going to hurt you. He's telling you what he's going to do. Now, I tried to tell people this back in 2008 when Barack Obama was talking about getting rid of coal and killing coal and going to solar power, and he gave his buddies the Solyndra contract. Remember that whole boondoggle where they took all this money and wound up going under all your tax dollars? And Barack Obama was warning I told him, I said, just look at the website. Unfortunately, everybody was focused on Reverend White? Right. Reverend White. Everybody was obsessed over his, he sat in the pew while Reverend White said, I said, I know, but that's not going to get McCain elected. You're going to have to go after him on policy and fight him on policy. Of course, McCain was a lazy coward when it came to politics. So he already gave up and you could tell he basically surrendered that presidential campaign early on. But I was trying to tell people, I said, just go to Obama's website. You'll see information that probably affects you more than a Reverend Wright sermon does. But some people weren't listening, and they were obsessed over it. And whatever happened to Reverend Wright? Is he still alive? Yes, he is.
Yeah, I heard his name a couple days ago, actually. I'm not sure really why. Just on Twitter it popped up. I'm not sure what the heck was going on. Yeah.
But anyway, we were way too obsessed with that, and so it was a distraction that took us away from, Barack Obama was on tape saying that your electric bills will necessarily skyrocket. It was like on tape. Everybody's like, yeah, but Reverend Wright. I was like, I got it. But here's where people have another chance. Here's Joe Biden from last night.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just to clarify, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
We cannot work it out. We cannot work this out. The time is up. Our house is on fire.
Oh, God.
We have to stop using coal in 10 years. And we need a president to do it or it won't get done.
Who's this Clark Kent dude? Who is that?
Coal, save this country and the planet.
That's
what I'm for.
Boy, does Joe Biden look old. Goodness gracious. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not an ageist by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm sorry. Joe Biden doesn't look like he'd survive a first term. I'm not kidding you. I mean, this whole thing.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just to clarify, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those.
I mean, he's tired and he's like he can't articulate. No, we work it out. It's like, I don't know. There's something like he looks really old. Now, keep in mind, she mentioned, Dana Bash mentioned fracking. So you're going to eliminate fracking too? You're going to eliminate natural gas? If anything, if you really wanted to get rid of coal, you'd do more fracking because you'd have more of a reliance on natural gas. And in fact, that's one of the reasons, I mean, people can say that there has been coal-killing regulations and that kind of thing. People can say that. But one of the contributors to the demise of coal has actually been fracking and natural gas as a result. And again, I guess they call natural gas a fossil fuel. Technically, I guess it is. But I really don't think that it is. But they throw fracking as a fossil fuel, I guess, because you're obviously digging. It's coming from the below the surface of the earth. So I guess that would be a fossil fuel. I don't know. But nonetheless, eliminate fracking and coal? What are you, out of your mind? What are we going to do? And then what's his bones over there with those glasses on? Who's that guy? He looked like the guy from The Price is Right. Who's that dude? The actor.
Drew Carey?
Yeah. He looked like Drew Carey. Anyway, but Joe Biden looked really just frail, and I feel kind of, I don't know. I don't really, again, being old is not easy. I get it. But
Mr. Vice President, just to clarify, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
We cannot.
Wow, I mean, that's moronic. I think part of the problem, too, with Joe Biden is he's had so much work done on his face that he can't move it. I mean, is that right or am I wrong? I'm serious. He can't. I think that's part of the problem is he can't move his face, to express and to move his mouth and everything else because they've taken the skin around his ears and pulled it back so much he looks like Skeletor all of a sudden, and he can't. He's like they pulled his face back. I think. I mean, I guess he could have taken the John Kerry approach and just squirted silicone all over his face, whatever that job was. My goodness gracious, he looks like that. He looks like the woman who's the famous, Catwoman from plastic surgery, Vil. That's what he looks like. I don't know. He's wearing a mask. I hate to laugh, but they did that to Joe Biden. I'm looking at him. They mistreated him. He should have been allowed. I mean, listen, he should have been allowed to age a little bit, and then and maintain the elasticity of his mouth.
Mr. Vice President, just to clarify, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
Man, that's bad. I mean, promising to do all that, eliminate any fossil fuel? Now, I guess he could claim that, I didn't hear her say fracking or whatever, but man, at that point, you're really putting the United States of America back in time. I mean, you're really hurting the United States when you talk like that. Seth is on line one. Seth, thanks for calling the show. What's up?
Hi, Jamie. Nice meeting you yesterday.
Oh, yeah. What's up, man?
Yes, it's at Walgreens, right.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyways, the biggest bozo last night was de Blasio with his statement of, I'm going to tax the hell out of the rich. Now, that's what I want to sign up for, because the 1% pays the 1% pay 10% of the taxes. The top 10% pay 80% of the taxes. And you want to tax them more? Keep taxing the rich to feed the poor until there is no rich no more. Then who's going to feed the poor?
Right on, man. I appreciate. Yeah, it was great meeting you too, buddy. I appreciate you very much, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. No, I'll talk to you soon because you're a great guy. I'd love to get you more involved in the show. All right, brother. So, I was picking up. I picked up some. Lily got when she was in French Lick, Indiana. She got bitten by like a thing called an oak mites. You know what oak mite is?
Got to buy some oak mite cream there at the Walgreens, or.
Oh, man, you don't buy oak mite cream, y'all.
Oak mite cream.
Oak mite cream. I rub my face with oak mite cream.
Is it itchy stuff, or itchy or swelling, or what is it?
It comes off a tree, man. It's disgusting.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude. I have an oak mite. I got an oak mite in my ear.
With some cream.
I need some oak mite cream, because I got some oak mites in my ear. Crawling in my ear. Laying eggs in my ear. No, but that's a nasty thing, man. It's a mite, too, which makes it even worse. Because when it's a mite, it's small. And let me see here. Yeah, apparently Missouri is oak mite land. Let's see. I don't know. And our allergist, Dr. Elira Figueroa, was the one who was ID'd it because she could see it on Lily's things on her arms and stuff. And Lily was bitten up pretty well. I don't know how she got the oak mites and nobody else did. But it looks like it comes off a tree, y'all. Let's see. Oak mites are tiny, microscopic insects that live and hatch in oak trees and feed on small midget fly larvae. The bite from an oak mite can create large red welts on humans and are sometimes misdiagnosed as chigger bites. So, yeah. But that thing, it might have been, I bet you she got it while she was horseback riding, because Lily was telling me that her horse liked to stop and eat leaves off the trees. And I had a horse like that last year when I was doing that. And these horses, when you're on horses, horses are really interesting because they're very smart and they're very manipulative, and they're giant, and they kind of hide behind their little, I'm just a cute little horse, but they're very determined and they are very manipulative of human beings. And so you have to really control a horse. So you talk to people who do horsing stuff, horse stuff, and you'll see them. They're very firm with a horse, and sometimes so firm that it makes you uncomfortable. It's like you can watch them do it. You yourself couldn't do that with a horse. But horses need to be controlled. They need to be but in a firm way. So, but not in a whip. Don't whip them and that kind of thing. But I'm saying is you have to kind of control them, because otherwise they'll take complete and total advantage of you. So when you go on a horse hike or whatever else, and you get a horse, what the horse will initially do, it'll test you. So it'll go and it'll start to eat off a tree, start to eat the leaves off a tree, and sit there, and then you'll sit there on the horse and you'll think it's cute. Aw, the horse, he's hungry. Look, chewing and everything else. But really what the horse is doing is daring you to tell it to stop doing that and get back on the trail. And the problem is, if you don't automatically pull back on the reins and pull the horse back in a firm manner and get it straight going, then it will do that every time it encounters a tree. It'll go and because it knows that you're going to let it do it. But all it takes is one time. We got to pull it back, and you got to get that horse back on the trail. But if you let it do it one time or even two times, it'll start that's what it'll do. Because if a horse had its choice, it wouldn't have you on its back going through a trail. It'd be like eating off of a tree is what it'd be doing. But Lily was telling me that her horse did that, like it ate off of trees. And I have no doubt that when her horse was eating off of trees, she probably kind of wandered into probably was pulled into like the tree area there where the leaves are. And then the oak mites got her. The oak mites were like, I don't have to mess around with any midget fly larvae. I don't have to look for that. I have a big arm right here I could just chew on. That'll be great. Just eat that. So that's probably how she got it. I don't know. Anyway, I was at Walgreens, met Seth, and I had to get Lily these her medicine, this liquid medicine that they flavor, and she of course would have none of it, but had to. But that's what it's all about. That was a long way to go to tell you the story of why I met Seth at Walgreens. Good morning this morning. 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com real estate listener line.
844-855-1380 and interact with Jamie on the calltammy.com listener line. That's 844-855-1380. More Allman in the morning next on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Allman here for Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com. So you're finally free. Oh, you're an empty nester. The kids have moved. You don't have the same expenses you had before. And now it's time to reinvest in your home. Well, your home is your safe haven. You've been thinking about adding shutters for quite some time, but you don't know which style would look best, and you're unsure of the cost. You see them all these great magazines. You're thinking, I love those things, but what's the deal with these things? Well, let me tell you something. These are traditional as well as modern, and Michael Proctor has a vast array for you to choose from, because here's the deal. You don't want to go it alone. You want to make sure Michael's there for you as your interior designer who can actually tell you exactly how these
Norman Shutters are going to look in your home, the blade width, everything else, the colors, you name it. He's got a great eye, which makes the value even better. Drives up to your doorstep 7 days a week. It's Proctor spelled like doctor, ProctorDrapery.com.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm the sun, and I'm confused. On most days, you're all, oh, I love the sun, it's the best. But when you're driving, you're like, wah, the sun's in my eyes. What do you want from me? I shine when I shine. Like right now, you're driving around a curve in the highway, I hit you square in the face and you don't see the car in front of you stop short. And if you've got cut rate insurance, well, that's not too bright. So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Are you in good hands?
This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Put the power of Allstate to work for you as America's largest and strongest insurance company. You can email me at matthewmitchell@allstate.com, or you can call my agents at 855-QUOTE-ME. Folks, there is safety in numbers. Again, the number to call is 855-QUOTE-ME.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380.
844-855-1380.
And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Yeah, there's a picture of it right there, the microscopic oak mite. Kind of looks like a little puppy or a baby pig or something, you know what I mean? Kind of looks cute for a mite. I'm a mite and I'm cute. That's all I've got to say to you. So anyway, I want to get to Max here because I saw this article on the internet, and it was about The Irishman, and it was Robert De Niro. I'm thinking to myself, do you really have to put a mob movie together and have Robert De Niro in it with Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel, and, you know, and everybody else? I would get some volume on my computer over here. And everybody else, and you've got to do this to me? You got to keep doing this to me?
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, you know, I can't stand Robert De Niro. In fact, he's probably the most repulsive Hollywood character around, personality-wise. But then I'm thinking, you know what, though? In a mob movie called The Irishman, or Irishman, what is it, Maxie? Is Irishman?
It is The Irishman, I believe.
Okay.
And this is a movie that that the directors wanted to make for a very long time. You're leaving out the most important part. This is a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, I mean, that's huge. And Pesci is all but retired, and he had to be strong-armed and convinced to come back. And this is a collaboration between Netflix, of all studios, and Scorsese. And so it'll actually debut on television on Netflix.
Okay, well, you know what's interesting too is it was the first time. It's the first time, which really surprises me, that Al Pacino has ever worked with Martin Scorsese. Right?
Yeah, he's worked with De Niro a couple times. Of course, most famously in Heat, where they had one scene together, and that's an incredible Michael Mann movie from the '90s. But yeah, he's never worked with Scorsese. They got close a couple of times, but I mean, the cast is amazing. As you said, Harvey Keitel. The story is one that Scorsese wanted to do a long time, and he hasn't done a mob movie in a long time, and De Niro hasn't done a mob movie or really a good movie in a very long time.
But it's not about the Irish. It's not about the Irish mob or anything, right?
I'm actually not clear. I think it's based on a true story, so I think it is based on one guy.
Okay, because one of my favorite movies of the foreign mob variety is a movie called Long Good Friday. You ever seen that?
I haven't. No.
Long Good Friday. It's got that little guy in it now. I don't remember his name. But that is one hell of a mob movie. But it's, let me just see. Bo Hoskins?
Oh, Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins was in it.
Yeah. Oh, he was great.
And
yeah,
it's from
great.
1980, and it's a great movie, man. You ought to check it out. It might be a little dated it's 1980, but So at some point you're going to be able to. Are you going to be able to? Do you get when these things appear like on TV? Do you get a preview of it or not?
Yeah. They give us a special login, so I'll be able to stream it on Netflix before most people, and then I'll be able to review it here on Allman in the Morning.
Why wouldn't they release it in a theater, Maxie?
This is Netflix. They want to rule the world, and so they're making deals with big directors. They have the Coen brothers. Now they've got Scorsese.
Okay. All right, man. All right, but that's just a double helping of Max on Movies because we'll have him back on Friday. Of course, it's Common Sense Radio. Father Tom on the way.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The best way forward on health care, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden says it's not the plan being offered by rival Kamala Harris. During last night's debate in Detroit, Harris criticized Biden's health care plan. 10 candidates were on the stage last night for that CNN debate. A son of Osama bin Laden, said to have followed in his late father's terrorist footsteps, is reportedly dead. Hamza bin Laden was apparently killed sometime in the past 2 years. One person is dead, 5 others hospitalized following a huge explosion and fire in Lincoln County, Kentucky overnight. A natural gas pipeline blew up. A Navy pilot still missing after his jet crashed during a training mission. Happened yesterday over Death Valley. On Wall Street, the Dow up 173 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Road work causing our biggest delay right now, and that's in Madison County, where 5570 eastbound has a right lane closed before Route 159 until 3 o'clock, and that big backup starts at Route 157. 270 northbound, still a little bit slow, 44 to Manchester, 44 eastbound. Brake lights there from Bowles Avenue to 270 into that long-term road work, and 6440 eastbound, slight delays. 170 to Big Bend. We also have the Dorset Midland Bridge over Lindbergh closed with roadwork until the end of August. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3, The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
Today, mostly sunny and nice. We'll see a high of 85. Patchy clouds tonight with a low of 66. Tomorrow, nice with sunshine and patchy clouds. We'll see a high of 85. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 68. On Saturday, it'll be pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 86. I'm Jillian Ford with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Hey, folks, Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. You've heard him talking about this, and this is really great. 70 years combined experience with all of his crew there at the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency offices. 855-QUOTE-ME is the phone number. The fact of the matter is he's so good at what he does, but more importantly, they also work for a company that just simply frees the reins. I mean, just takes the gloves off in terms of helping you with low premiums and low deductibles all at the same time. The secret in the insurance business is, and this is how these people make money, is that they insure you pay the premiums, and yet at the same time, they have your deductibles so high that they don't ultimately pay you. They don't pay the claims. That's kind of how they do it, and that's how they make their money. With the Allstate Agency, they have a wide enough portfolio, and they are big enough to where they don't have to play those little nickel and dimey games with you. They can get the job done and get the job done really easily for you, and say and get you the kind of coverage you deserve at the kind of level of pricing you deserve. And of course, John called a while back telling me when he met with Matthew, it wound up being a situation where it's just on his car insurance, he saved $5,000. I mean, that's just unbelievable, but it's something that you're capable of saving as well when you hit Matthew Mitchell up. If you have an insurance policy with somebody else, home or auto, they're going to take good care of you and he's going to take good care of you and make it happen. He'll change the game, guaranteed. Just give him a chance. That's all you got to do. 855-QUOTE-ME. That's 855-QUOTE-ME.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Never paint again. This is Darren, owner of Rhino Shield. Want to eliminate painting your home, business, or church? Call the experts at Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic wall coating to regular paint and vinyl. Perfect for aluminum, steel, unpainted brick, block, stucco, EIFS, drive-it, cement board, and wood sidings. Rhino Shield eliminates wasting time and money painting year after year. Our ceramic coating deflects 90% of the sun's UV rays and 100% of the moisture. Our clients want affordable protection with the elimination of maintenance. Rhino Shield protects your biggest investment while maintaining your architectural features and gives you the curb appeal you deserve. Make your home great again by working with the Rhino Shield experts. A+ rated with the BBB. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith. Come see what your smile can be at Dentistry with TLC.
Larry Elder, tonight at 5. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
May I make my fond excuses for the lateness of the hour, but we accept your invitation and move ring beltings loud. For the Mayday is the great day sung along the home.
One of the things I want to mention about Long Good Friday real quickly, Phil, it seemed like you were going to maybe watch that from 1980 with Bob Hoskins in it. One of the, it wasn't really a cameo, it was one of Pierce Brosnan's first acting jobs.
That's who you were trying to remember, the Bond. Yeah, I was trying
Exactly.
to
It was Pierce Brosnan. So Pierce Brosnan played a gay dude in a bathhouse who wound up murdering or getting murdered or something. But that was Pierce Brosnan's, I think, maybe his debut role in a movie that had any significance. But he was the gay guy in a bathhouse who wound up being iced or maybe stabbing somebody or doing something.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
You got to
right?
start somewhere, right?
Remington
Father
Steel. Remington Steel. Yeah.
Hey, Padre, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much. After an ordeal last week where I had relied on copious amounts of prayer and copious amounts of
medicine,
belief, and yes, and antibiotics.
And thank God for good medicine.
No doubt about it. That is for sure. You know, it was interesting because I've wanted to talk to you about this because it was Friday when I had the initial procedure, and then everything went to hell in a handbasket about 4 days later while I was actually in French Lick, Indiana. I was in, and interestingly enough, before any of this happened, when I went to this place, it was a timeshare place, and every room, or at least bedroom, had a Gideon's Bible in it.
Oh, okay. They're all over the place.
Yeah, but it wasn't just Gideon's Bible; it was Gideon's Bible opened up to the Book of Job.
Oh, and in every room?
Every room.
Interesting.
And I don't know why that whoever was cleaning the room or did the thing opened up to the book of, it was open to the book of Job. But I wound up actually reading the book of Job while I was there, you know, and even before all this kind of stuff happened. And of course, Job, it did just the whole, you know, this is obviously Old Testament where God is constantly kind of fighting with Satan, you know, and they're all doing their little.
Well, right. The whole story of Job, of course, is Satan going before him, got to see what a good servant he is. And Satan goes, well, I bet if you make his life miserable, he won't be so good.
Yeah.
And then that's the story of how everything in one day just falls to pieces for Job. You know, it really is. You look at the story, they come in, they're wiped out. These people are carried off all your camels, all your sheep are gone, your whole family. The only ones left is his wife, who now is unsupportive too.
Yes. So he had everything taken, you know, because Satan was like, yeah, I bet he's going to watch this. And so so that all happened,
and then he loses his health.
I mean, all of his children killed and everything erased. And the key to that whole thing was not one time did Job ever doubt the love of God.
Well, there's an instance where he's complaining. He has 3 friends show up. They see Job's misfortune, his terrible lot. They all sit with him silently for a while. And then they all then proceed to lecture him for chapters on, you need to acknowledge you must have sinned somewhere, you were wrong, you got to acknowledge it. This is, God's justice coming for you. And each of them take a shot, and Job is constantly protesting his innocence to where he gets to the point where you get tired of 3 friends talking like that too. He says, if I had a lawyer to present my case against God, I could show that God was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And that's where he oversteps his bounds. That's really the only time. He never blames God for it. It's just that, this misfortune was not merited or warranted. And then God shows up at the end, big storm. Job's humble, puts his hand over his mouth and knows nothing. He goes back to the humility he had at the beginning.
Yeah, right. And winds up garnering all kinds of...
Oh, yeah. Tons of more blessings, although that still doesn't undo all the pain and loss.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
It's very interesting. It was trying to wrap your head around the problem of evil. Why does God permit evil?
Yes.
And how do we respond to it in suffering, in particular suffering?
Yeah, and it's kind of like the when bad things happen to good people type of thing.
A much better book is Making Sense Out of Suffering by Peter Kraft. When bad things happen to good people by the rabbis. Not a bad book. I think one of my critiques of it is that one of the conclusions he draws is that maybe God is not omnipotent, all-powerful. Because if God was all-powerful and all good, there should be a lot less pain, suffering, and evil in the world. And there seems to be a lot of pain, suffering, and evil in the world. And so he draws on the fact that maybe God isn't all-powerful. And Dr. Peter Kraft, who's a professor out of Boston College, takes a little different approach, talking about the mystery of suffering and God and Christ, and really does a really good Making Sense Out of Suffering. Excellent book.
Yeah. Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah, because, in the end...
Nothing wrong with the other one. The other one I give a good B. But if you want an A book on suffering, that's a good A book.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, praying about it.
Yeah, to a certain degree, the romantics of the early 1800s in culture and literature kind of had it right. I mean, like you look at John Keats and his writings and the romantic poets, they always believed that suffering was a necessary process to which you gained inspiration or you gained insight or whatever it happens to be, that suffering was
you can if you reflect
a good
on
thing.
It.
Yeah.
It really depends on how you react to it, because we all know people who've suffered and they've become better people for it, and we probably know people who've suffered just a little and they're a mess.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They're falling apart. God love them. And no judgment against them, because who knows till we're all tested where we're going to be. It's really presumptuous to think, well, if I get tested like that, I'm going to sail through it. Well, no, I may crumble apart too.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah. Well, because there were times, and I've talked about this a little bit. I haven't talked about it much because I'm not into talking about how my challenge is necessarily whatever. But there was a time there at that point, where it was really, because what would happen is you do all the antibiotics and everything else, and then that would knock down whatever it was that you needed to knock down in terms of a fever, in terms of this, in terms of your keeping it from getting into your blood, and keeping from going septic and everything else. And so then you have these just amazing antibiotics going for you. But then you have the second round of the offshoot of the antibiotics, which is the antibiotics then destroy everything inside of you that is keeping everything that's good inside of you.
Right.
So then you go through that process where you're spending a lot of time like all night.
Last century, dysentery was in the top 5 killers of people still. Lest we forget. You get dehydrated and your electrolytes, they didn't know anything about that a century ago, are out of whack, and you're toast.
But all throughout this time, it never occurred to me and never once entered my mind. And it wasn't just because I had read the book of Job and learned something from that trial, but it never once occurred to me like, oh, why is this being done to me? Or why is this, doing whatever. I kind of knew exactly why I got into trouble is because once I had the procedure done on Friday, I was like, woohoo! And I was like going crazy.
Right.
And shouldn't have.
Right.
And I brought this on myself, basically.
Well, then see, that's good self-awareness. That's much better than saying, "Oh, I don't know why this happened to me."
Yeah,
no,
right.
I did it.
No, I know exactly why it happened to me. You know, I mean, it was totally my fault, in my
truth will
opinion.
set you free.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I never felt even still that I was like, oh, this is I always felt like there was some meaning to this thing that was going on in the end.
Yeah.
So
well, that's great. Well, just I think as moderns, probably since World War II would be when I say everything started changing. We became much more believing that everything's always going to be good, everything's always going to get better. And that's really not the human experience. I mean, when you go back 2 centuries, we'd consider them fatalistic in some of their writings. They were just being realistic. You think, man, that's really dark. Well, it's not really. I mean, that is a real possibility. Some of these poets and writers in literature gave what we would really consider dark stories now if they were written by moderns. But they were honest, assessments of human life and sufferings and trials.
Yeah. Well, so then last Sunday, the mass readings, one of them was Luke, and it's the world famous, ask and you shall receive.
Oh, yeah.
And that's interesting because I know your hat says God is good all the time. And in that Luke passage, and I don't have it in front of me, but you obviously know it, where it's like, well, if you asked for, and forgive me for screwing it up, but it's like if you ask for an egg, he's not going to give you a serpent.
That's right. You got it right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, that was interesting to me.
Right. God is good. We trust God our Father. A lot of times, and I talked about this the first time I did one of the little things for Allman Arts, we're not trying to convince God to do things our way. We're trying to be convinced to do things God's way.
Right.
That's really, we're the ones that need to change in the equation, not God. But we look for all these little passages in the Bible that, if I ask in the name of Jesus, I'm going to win the lottery. Well, go for it. If you do, I'll eat humble pie and say, wow, you got faith and the Lord gave you the winning lottery tickets. That's pretty awesome. But
right.
Generally, the Lord isn't after material wealth or prosperity. He's after our conversion, our goodness to Him and to one another.
Yeah. So I guess somebody.
But we do need to when we ask for things repeatedly, really what we should be asking the Lord to do is deepen our faith. I really trust that it will work out for the good, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Even if somebody I love, I'm praying for, dies, it's still going to work out for the good if we realize that in time enough to help prepare them for death. I mean, because that's inevitable.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be fatalistic. I always feel bad because I talk about death a lot as a priest because I do a lot of funerals.
Yeah.
And I look at that reality. I like to say this: life is boot camp. We're all trying to learn how to live in preparation for eternity. Whatever's on the other side, which Scripture gives us a window into.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting then too, because a lot of people confuse. Well, as you know, there are a lot of people who confuse certain things about these Bible passages, like "ask and you shall receive," right, as kind of like "where's my car" type of thing.
Exactly.
But in reality, as you point out, that's not the deal.
Right. Well, it's like I can remember over the years as a priest, people would come for me counseling us, some young guys. Man, I'm praying to God to send a woman to my life. Well, I think God would give you some advice. Maybe go out and meet some. Go wherever. Do a dating service or go out to some venue where you might have a chance of actually encountering them personally. And I think your prayers have a much higher chance of being answered than sitting at home hoping one just drops through the ceiling or something.
Right. Well, because the equation's supposed to include the fact that God actually gave you the inner will to do whatever it is you're looking for. If you're looking for a woman, He's given you everything you need right there.
Well, just like with the medicine, our technology, everything we develop is because God's given us the ability to use this thing on our shoulders for more than just a hat rack.
Yeah, right.
And so this is all really benefits of the Holy Spirit working in human ingenuity. Because you think of all the things that, like the situation you had, probably would have killed you probably 60 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You just would have been dead. Sorry, don't know what's happened, got a fever, can't get it out of control.
Yeah.
And so we're living really in the most fortunate times and the most fortunate country.
No question
we really
about
should
that.
Be proudly thankful to be American and where we're at.
Yeah, no doubt. And that whole thing about the ask you shall receive and what's already given, we already have it in front of us, reminds me of the joke, really. And it's a joke that I actually first learned in the flood of 93 of all times. And it was about the guy who's sitting on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the water's starting to come up on his, well, he's sitting on his porch and water's starting to come up and a boat comes by or people walk by and in their sloggers and say, hey, you want help? We can take you to a shelter and get you out of there. He goes, no, God's going to come. God's going to save me.
Right.
And then suddenly the water gets so high. Then he starts to kind of climb up on his house and a boat comes by and says, hey, get in. We're going to be able to help you. And he's like, no, God is going to help me. I'm relying on my prayer, and God is going to help me. And suddenly he's on this roof, and the helicopter comes. They go, come on, get up. Come on, get on the ladder, and we'll pull you up. He goes, no, God's going to help me out. Finally, the guy drowns, gets to heaven. It's like, God, where were you? He goes, I was there. I sent you a boat, and I sent you a helicopter.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first time I heard that thing too.
Yeah, I mean it's a great story.
Yeah,
and so it's a great example of how God, everything is kind of built in.
Well,
already.
we're all looking at times as people of faith for burning bushes type of experience. It's something like so supernatural you'd be stupid to ignore it. And what we get is a lot more subtle things in life where God is just moving very gently and humbly in our lives, and you really have to be awake to kind of catch it in hindsight. And God is very present. But if we're looking for burning bushes, very few of us do. And if you do get a burning bush, we ought to be scared because look what happened to Moses, man. He had quite a work mission.
No doubt about it, especially after what he had done. It's like, God was still like, nope, you're the guy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. everybody forgets that. And I love, Moses is by far my favorite Old Testament figure. The guy starts out as a murderer.
Yeah.
And he's fleeing justice. So this is not somebody, we lock the doors for people like that, keep them outside. And God rehabs this guy that's a murderer and turns him into, one of the most pivotal figures in the Old Testament.
It's pretty amazing. We have more to talk about on the other side of this break. 844-855-1380 is the call. Tammy.com, real estate listen line with Father Tom. And don't forget, Hey Padre, right here on Allman Arts Presents, Mondays from 1 to 2. So make sure you tune in then.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Let's face it, things happen in our daily life that may get us off track. Tooth pain and aches can happen when we least expect them. Get back on track with a visit to Dr. Anna Smith of Dentistry with TLC. Dr. Anna prides herself on helping patients when it's convenient for them, even during lunch hours, and always providing a judgment-free office. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC is here to help. Need a root canal? Dr. Anna can perform the procedure in about 10 minutes and get you back on the road. Have sleep apnea? While you're there, talk to Dr. Anna about an oral appliance to help you get a better night's sleep and feel well rested the next day. Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC, located in Godfrey, Illinois. Call today at 618-466-0733. That's 618-466-0733. Or visit dentistrywithtlc.com to learn the TLC difference. That's dentistrywithtlc.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Hey, Allman here for Proctor Drapery. Proctor spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com. So you're getting ready to sell your home. You want it to look its best. You've gone through the checklist, but wait. Does your home have curb appeal? If you're unsure, you should contact Michael at proctordrapery.com about shutters for your front-facing windows. Shutters have curb appeal, and they can go in any home. They can change the whole look of the home. You can give your home that curb appeal, make it great again and ready for sale. It only needs these shutters to make sure that you have the difference there. Blinds and shades do not make the same statements that shutters do, and you're going to love what Michael Proctor has for you. Norman Shutters. They are all the rage, and they have this new modern look that you are going to love, and that's going to put your home on an extra level, that's for sure. Why wait? Schedule an appointment today with Michael. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor, spelled like doctor, proctordrapery.com.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me some music, dude. Gee whiz.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Good morning this morning, everybody. One thing I wanted to ask you about
is this Dishwalla? Who is this playing?
This is Jesus Jones.
Or Jesus Jones, okay.
It's perfect for Hey Padre.
Yeah, it is perfect. I thought it was Counting Cars by Dishwalla, I think it was.
Counting Cars?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the song.
Yeah, kind of like, I remember
They kind of sound like a low-keyed U2 when you listen to them sing. I like the group. They were a good group.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit like that. Figured it was appropriate to play some Jesus Jones
was.
here.
Well, you did ZZ Top last week or 2 weeks ago. Was,
Jesus just left Chicago. Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah.
I like all the Jesus songs. I'll take them. Hey,
so
get his name out there.
Tell me about this National Cathedral baloney, because I know that they came out. I don't know why it's called the National Cathedral. I thought you weren't supposed to nationalize anything, but I guess so. These guys all come out and they condemn President Trump for what they call his racially divisive language. And first of all, it's not my cathedral anyway.
Right.
And I don't know why they call it. But it's funny how the left, had this been like the National Baptist Association condemning Obama on abortion, they'd be screaming separation of church and state.
Absolutely.
But these guys become useful idiots for the left.
And that's all Christianity is to them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's like every angry father issue they ever have, they hoist upon Christianity.
Right.
So I was like, come on, you know.
Yeah.
But it really, we've had numerous conversations about the whole immigration thing. Well, we can be honest. When you talk about race, who's always bringing up race in conversations? A lot of times you see it on the news and in media and popular discourse. It's almost always somebody on the left. They were the first one to say, well, you can't criticize me because I'm black, I'm Hispanic, I'm a woman, I'm gay, I'm what. Well, really, in freedom of speech and freedom of thought, nobody's above criticism. You can criticize me for everything I hold dear. I may not be happy about it. And, you know, if you were to start ripping on me, I might listen to it for a while, and if I had enough, I'll just walk out the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if you follow me to my house, I'm probably going to get the garden hose out and start saturating you or something like that.
The garden hose, huh?
Well, let's start with something easy.
Okay,
water.
Yeah.
You don't have to put all the chips in. You don't have to go all in and, you know, on a reaction. You can have a gradual build-up.
Next step would be the molten lead hose.
Well, we have those too.
Yes, we do. I hope.
There's nothing wrong with guns. They're good for hunting and self-defense.
Exactly.
And they're just fun to shoot.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it was a couple of weeks ago you talked about 4th of July. That was by far the second favorite holiday after Christmas. 4th of July rocks.
Yeah, no doubt.
Bottle rocket fights, Roman candle fights, really stupid, but hey.
Yeah.
Blowing up things. I mean, what boy doesn't like blowing up things?
Right. Girls do too.
Well, that's good.
But here's the thing: with the National Cathedral. First of all, the church and state thing. I know exactly what Jefferson meant, but still, it makes me uncomfortable that the National Cathedral, which they bill themselves as the National Cathedral, which I'm not quite sure isn't.
Because they're in the Capitol, right?
But they're not really. That's not really an earned distinction.
No, that's just a title.
Just made that up,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really the National Cathedral, but they come out with this statement and the insinuation is it adds more credibility to their statement because it's coming from the National Cathedral,
right?
And that's infuriating to me because they're abusing their role.
Oh, they're just being a pawn and a bigger talking point.
Right. So is that an Episcopal church or
yes,
what is
it
that?
It is Episcopal.
Okay.
It's like Catholic Light. No offense to anybody out there. I mean, they're very, very similar.
Yeah, they are.
The Catholics, just like Lutherans are.
In some cases, even the high Episcopalians refer to their ministers as father.
Yeah.
In some cases.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
or vicar, and you always hear that. Because there's so many good shows on PBS regarding Anglican priests and stuff. That's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
Good comedy.
Right. So, I just resented.
I would resent it too because it's, you know, in any other situation, it'd be either disregard it, dismiss it, or outrage about it if a minister said something.
Yeah.
But if it's a minister to the left says it's one of ours, then it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious.
I mean, the good news is many of the people in the media and on the left are so spiritually vacant that they didn't even...
Right.
That even they dismissed the National Cathedral because otherwise they'd be too tied into it. So that's very interesting. All right, buddy. Well, so what's the day in the life of Father today?
Day in the life. Okay. After here, I do my normal Thursday gig. I go down to the Missioners of Charity down by St. Lucia University, a couple blocks north on Cottage, rough neighborhood. I do a holy hour with them, hear their confessions, which is nothing. I mean, they're all such holy women. Really got it. Then I give a little talk. I do a recap of Sunday's homily. Then I go see Mom. Then I grab lunch, and then head back out to New Melly.
All right, buddy. Well,
Good
Godspeed to you. Always great to see
Hey,
you,
always
Father
good to
Tom
see you.
Miller.
Been praying for you, buddy.
And thank you very much. And don't forget, Hey Padre on Allman Arts Presents Mondays from 1 to 2. Have a great and blessed day, my friend.
You too.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. An appearance this evening in Ohio could prove to be a test of sorts for President Trump.
He'll hold a rally in Cincinnati, the first since the now infamous gathering in North Carolina, where the Greenville crowd chanted "Send her back" about Somali-born Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
That report from correspondent Sagar Magani. The two frontrunners in the Democratic race for the White House, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, coming under fire from rivals during last night's debate in Detroit. It was a wide